Morning. Bakit wala ito? Ano lang? Dali lang ha. Kaya natin itong audio nila. Bakit wala? Dali lang.
Joint public hearing of the Quadcom.
Gabang tayo ng hearing po ng Quadcom. Okay? Hopefully, narinig po ninyo ako.
Committee on Dangerous Drugs,
Pakinggan natin si Congressman Barbers. Narinig po ninyo ako. Ronald Ronald Badwa ng US ng California. Ayan, Ronald, thank you. Ronaldo pala, sorry. Ronaldo Badwa. Ronald Quesada. Ayan, nagkaumpisa pa lang po.
on the part of Committee on Public Accounts.
Ayan, hearing na po ito. Ninita Umali, Marie Joy Santos, salamat po. Ayan. Ayan, nag-umpisa pa lang naman sila. So, kahit na hindi dumating si Duterte at tatalakayin din niya kung ano talaga ang tunay na dahilan ba't hindi dumating si dating Pangulong Duterte na invited naman. Pero habang wala pa, sige, mag-usapan muna natin. Maganda po ito dahil para malaman kung ano nangyayari talaga. Pero nandiyan si De Lima. Ayan, nandiyan si dating Senador De Lima. Okay? So, yan, nag-umpisa na. Tapos yan, may roll call pa yan eh. Okay? So, nag-resume. Anong oras na ba? 9 or 10, 20, 29, 28. Ayan, Isang Florida, salamat po. Julio Nuera, salamat. Cherry Francisco, Joy Rack, Priscilla Bataan, Rico Malonzo, salamat po. Teresa Gabriel, Estrelita Star, Eros, good morning, Star, mula dyan sa Japan. Ricardo Nieveras, salamat po. Thank you. Star, thank you, salamat. Antonio Abad, Josepa Oliva Lopez, Lady Rica, Vlog, vlogger din siya. Salamat po. Lady Rica, salamat ha. Jack Dula, salamat. Federico Dayaw. Ayan o. May magili pa o. Yan, opening o. Sa Quadcom hearing ito sa Senado. Sa Kongreso. Rescue 25. Cynthia Isip, salamat. Norly Jordelis, salamat po. Rutina Apiado, salamat din po. Alexander Gonzalez, salamat. Good morning. Fatima Patin, salamat. Jane Orencio. Mercedes Nipales. Mula California. Stockton, sa California. Salamat po, Mercedes. Kamusta na po yung mga taga-US? Tapos ng eleksyon, Jesus. Judy, salamat. Thank you. Lakas ng bayang magili. Okay. Naan muna natin. Kasi hindi pa naman pagkatapos yan, roll call pa yan. Mamaya, papakita ko sa inyo pag actual na nagsimula na. After niya, roll call, kung sino-sino mga nandiyan kongresista or sino po yung mga resource person. Pero nakita ko na si De Lima eh. Tingnan natin.
Today's committee hearing is the roll call of members.
Ayan o. So, sinong nandiyan mga member? Ninita Umali, salamat. Thank you. Salamat po sa inyo. Romy Hernandez, salamat po. Lourdes Deito, salamat po. Thank you po, salamat sa inyo. Okay. Yan, Doro, salamat po. Mula sa San Francisco, California. Salamat po sa inyo, taga California, USA. Itilin Solis, ito isa sa mga suki. Salamat, Itilin, Solis. Solis, solid. Okay, Lolita Madriaga, ayan. Okay, Ramon, ayan, Makinsay. Tama ba? Maria Cobo. Salamat po. Sino kaya? Pero nandito na yung mga chairman ng committee. Congressman Barbers, Fernandez, Abante, Paduano, Deputy Speaker Gonzales. Ayan,
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Ayan, sige. Maya po eh.
There's an amendment to the motion.
Okay.
It would include the previous meetings on October.
Dinidiscuss po kayo nakaraang meeting. Okay yan. Vilma Calario, salamat. Cyril Bantula, salamat po. Thank you. Okay. Senador Laila De Lima, tama. Star, nandito nga. Nakita ko na si De Lima maya. Isa sa guest. Ang ganda sana kung nandyan si De Lima, sana si Duterte dumating. May dahilan na naman. Nagdahilan naman si Duterte kung bakit hindi dumating. Sayang, ayaw talaga niyang harapin.
remarks by the
Norma,
chairs of the
Balingkit.
Quad Committee and allow this representation.
Kaya mayroong opening statement na si Barbers. Pakinggan natin siguro ito.
Magandang umaga po. Good morning, esteemed co-chairs,
Yan na.
honorable colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and
Pakinggan po
gentlemen.
natin.
Our senior deputy speaker, the proponent of this investigation. Welcome to our 10th Quadcom hearing.
Ang 10 ng hearing pala.
Today, we shall continue with our inquiry on the issue on illegal drugs. If you recall, we started in the Committee on Dangerous Drugs in October of last year, 2023. We investigated the illegal drugs seized in the
Pakinggan po. Sandali, pakita ko sa inyo. Dali lang po.
which turned out to be owned by Empire 999, a corporation owned by Chinese nationals who pretended to be Filipinos. When the hearing started,
Naman,
they all
dali lang po,
disappeared. Records show that the main players have gone back to China using their real passports and identities. To date, Quadcom has initiated forfeiture proceedings of all their assets here in the country through the Office of the Solicitor General. The Quadcom now discovered
Salamat
that it
sa
was not the
House
tip
of
the iceberg.
Representatives kasi live po ito.
Empire 999 is not alone in this illegal activity. Other corporations may have been formed to cover or mask this activity
Ang likot
as
naman ito.
evidenced by their interlocking sets of incorporators all the way leading to personalities who are long suspected of illegal drug activities, namely Lin Wei-shong and Mr. Michael Yang, the former economic advisor of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. This discovery led us back into the past. Witnesses now claim that powerful people associated with these two Chinese have facilitated the entry of illegal drugs into the country during the past administration. We have invited all these personalities today so we may know whether or not they have any involvement in illegal drugs, and we shall listen to their side later. We shall also resume the hearing on the extrajudicial killings that took the lives of more than 20,000 people during the past administration's war on drugs. In our past hearings, names were mentioned, admissions were made, witnesses and resource persons appeared, questioned, vetted, and tested. Forced admissions in any way was never part of Quadcom. We may not have extracted yet the information fully from them, but we never put words in their mouths. Whatever testimonies and affidavits they presented before the Quadcom were given by them freely and voluntarily. We may be accused of providing entertainment and likened to a gag show, but who is laughing? On the contrary, the one who said that must be so full of himself that he didn't notice that the joke was on him. We are not here to pin down nor exonerate anyone. All we wanted was to know the truth, the same truth that the people have been longing for, most especially by the families of murder victims and the victims who survived. We intend to use these truths in crafting legislation, some of which we have already filed, as well as make recommendations to any agency to plug loopholes in their systems, if any is discovered. If along the way, people are found to be liable, it is our duty to make sure that justice is served. There is nothing funny about it. We only mean serious business. We have reached this point because in the course of the investigation, we found very disturbing facts and questions needing answers. We owe it to the people. As public servants, we pledge loyalty to them. They trusted us and voted us in office. We serve them. We will not use the Quadcom to exonerate ourselves and proclaim our innocence in the face of overwhelming evidence. Now, if I may, I invite all of you to look at the screen and see the inconvenient truth. These numbers are from the official PNP reports as published both then and recently, last October 21, and not just made-up stories by the Quadcom. Ikumpara po natin ang unang 2 taon ng Duterte at BBM administration. Tingnan po natin ang total ng krimen o tinatawag na index crime volume. Sa
2016.
unang 2 taon po ng
Ito.
Duterte administration ay nakapagtala ito ng 217,830 na krimen.
2 years yan.
Samantalang sa parehong panahon
Yun.
naman sa BBM administration, ang krimen ay bumaba ng napakalaki. 83,059
Yan.
o nangangalugan na pagbawas
That's
ng 61.87%
Grabe ha.
sa index crimes. Any claim to the contrary is but a figment of the imagination and if not, a propaganda. Pangalawa, tingnan po natin mula July 2016 to December 2017 ay may mga namatay o pinatay na 4,354
Yan,
sa
oh.
mga police anti-illegal drug operations, habang 16,000 naman at 355 naman ang pinatay na mga riding in tandem at mga di pa nakikilalang mga salarin. Noong 2018, inilagay ng PNP sa kategoryang HCUI or Homicide Cases Under Investigation na umabot sa talang 23,327. Samantala, mula July 2022 hanggang katapusan ng 2023, ang bilang ng mga napatay sa mga legitimate police anti-illegal drugs operations ay 73 lamang po. Pangatlo, may kabuuan na 115,435 na anti-drug operations na nakalikom lamang ng 3,294,44 kilos ng shabu na nagkakalaga ng 18.43 billion pesos sa
Duterte,
unang 2
Marcos
taon
administration.
ng dating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, habang sa mas kakaunting anti-illegal drug
Ayan, oh.
operations lamang sa parehong panahon sa BBM administration ay 84,676, subalit nakalikom na mas maraming shabu na umaabot sa 6,481.16
Laki ng pagkakaiba, no?
kilos. The anti-drug campaigns under former President Rodrigo Duterte from July 2016 to July 2018 and the current President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. from July 22 to early 2024 represent contrasting approaches in tackling illegal drugs and the crime in the Philippines. While both administrations aim to reduce drug-related crimes,
Pinagkumpara ni Congressman
their efforts
Barbers.
and resulting outcomes
Ang laki ng
reflect
diferensya.
significant strategic and operational differences. Here is a detailed comparison of the first 2 years of the administration's campaign. As has been shown earlier, ang numero po ay hindi po nagsisinungaling. Ito po ay galing sa Philippine National Police. Duterte's anti-drug campaign was characterized by an aggressive, highly visible approach involving frequent operations and a high fatality count. His administration focused on eradicating drug activity at all levels, which led to widespread arrests and significant drops in crime, but also raised concerns over human rights and due process. In contrast, the Marcos administration appears to have adopted a more refined approach with an emphasis on improved crime-solving rates and efficiency in enforcement. The significantly lower number of fatalities coupled with large drug seizures and high-value arrests suggests a strategic pivot towards disrupting drug networks through focused, intelligence-driven operations. This approach may reflect a more sustainable model aiming to dismantle supply chains rather than focusing on sheer arrest numbers or area saturation tactics. In conclusion, both administrations achieved reductions in crime and drug-related offenses, but the Duterte administration's approach was more intensive and controversial, with high casualties and widespread operations. The Marcos administration has made efforts to continue the campaign with fewer fatalities, a higher concentration on strategic arrests, and increased operational efficiency, suggesting a potential shift towards a more systematic and less violent anti-illegal drugs approach. The numbers mentioned above are real numbers. Sa totoo lang po, hindi namin alam ang mga tunay na pangyayari sa likod ng mga numerong ito hanggang nag-umpisa ang ating investigasyon. Ang sinabi na ating lahat na kwento ay ang karamihan ng mga pinatay ay kagagawan ng mga vigilantes na hindi pa nakikilala, habang ang mga natitira ay biktima naman ng legitimate police operations kung saan ang mga pinatay ay sinabing ng laban. Sa mga testimonyang malayang ipinahayag sa ating mga pandinig, ay naipakita na marahil dito ay bunga ng pamamaslang ng mga operatiba o pulis na inutusang pilitin ang mga nahuhuli na manlaban upang tuluyan na silang mapatay. Sa pahayag ng dating Pangulong Duterte sa Senado, sinabi niya na totoong sinabihan niya ang kapulisan na mag-encourage o himukin ang mga suspects na lumaban upang patayin na sila at nang sa gayon ay matapos na ang problema. Mas nakakagimbal ang mga pahayag na may pabuya o reward ang mga operatibang makakapatay ng mga nasa listahan ng drug personalities. Hindi ito may kakaila sapagkat marami na ang nagsabi, kabilang na si dating Special Assistant to the President na ngayon ay Senador Bongo, sa kanya mga interviews noon, kasagsagan ng war on drugs. Ang pangakong pabuya ang malamang na naging dahilan ng paglobo ng dami ng pinatay. Without validation of the so-called dark lists, names may be added at will, whether or not the person is a drug personality, as in the case of General Wesley Barayuga, whose name was added to the list way after he was killed. May mga nagsasabi na maganda ang mga naganap na patayan sapagkat mga drug lords naman po ang napatay o ang mga adik na kriminal. Subalit sa aming investigasyon, lumalabas na may mga ibang drug lords nga na napatay, subalit iilan lamang, samantalang madaming mga malalaking drug lords ang nagpatuloy sa kanilang gawain at naprotektahan pa ng gobyerno at nabigyan pa ng titulo imbis na maimbestigahan. Libo-libo ang mga pinatay na mga tricycle drivers, homeless na nasa kariton, construction workers, at mga ordinaryong tao na halos wala nang ang makain at walang laban, mga taong napagtripan na lamang. Ito ba ang mga drug lords? Pangkain nga, wala sila. Pangdroga pa kaya? Mga batang inosente gaya ni Kian de los Santos, basta na kung sunodaan ka, delikado ka na. Lahat ng patay may reward na katumbas. Sino ba ang ayaw maging ligtas ang ating mga lansangan sa mga masasamang
Hindi
elemento?
nitong opening statement
Subalit
ni Barbers.
ang mga pinalit sa mga masasamang elementong ito ay mga otoridad na naghahanap buhay, mas nakakatakot maglakad sa lansangan at baka masama ka sa missing persons or unsolved homicide cases. Ipagpalagay na natin na mga adik ang ibang pinatay. Bakit pa tayo naglaan ng daang-daang milyon sa pagtatayo ng mga drug rehab centers kung papatayin din lamang natin sila?
Grabe ka.
Ito ba ang dahilan kung bakit hindi nagamit ng full capacity or in full capacity yung ating mega rehabilitation center na nandoon sa Nueva Ecija? Pag drug addict ka ba, wala ka ng karapatang mabuhay dahil wala ka ng silbi sa buhay? Ang mga pinatay ay mga tatay, nanay, anak, kapatid, apo, mga miyembro ng pamilya na may mga nagmamahal. Napakinggan natin dito ang kanilang mga naulila. Sila'y kaawa-awa at kalunos-lunos.
Grabe.
It is really sad that human lives were lost and wasted just to prove a point that we are against illegal drugs. The right to life is paramount as it is God-given and precedes all other human rights. Without life, there can be no rights. Quadcom will not sit idly by in the face of all these discoveries. We intend to get to the bottom of all these issues fairly, honestly, and truthfully. Hiningi po namin ang inyong buong pagtitiwala. Hindi po kami nag-aakusa lamang dahil sa politika o ano paman. Kayo po ang humusga. Inilalatag lamang namin ang aming mga impormasyon at katotohanan base sa mga salaysay tunay na pangyayari at mga dokumentong nakalap sa aming mga pag-iimbestiga. Patuloy po naming babantayan at sisiya sa atin ang mga aligasyon, akusasyon at impormasyon para mapangalagaan ang ating bayan. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga po.
Opening pa lang po yan, ang tindi na. Grabe, ano? Susan Alejandro, salamat. Elizabeth Galang. Yes, Medina, salamat. Susan, salamat.
Human Rights, Congressman Benny
Yan.
Abante.
Yung mga chairman po, magkasalita.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sa ating pong Senior Deputy Speaker, sa ating Deputy Speaker, sa aking mga co-chairs, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues at mga kababayan, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. We gather here once more for the 10th time, not merely to sit in one of our typical hearings, in order to file one of our usual committee reports, but for something far greater. We have convened again because we cannot and we must not lose sight of the purpose that drives us, the pursuit of justice for the victims of illegal drugs, for the victims of POGOs, and for the victims of extrajudicial killings. To help remind us of why we dedicate so much of our time to this task, I ask you to remember the name of Kian de los Santos, that young man, that minor, whose life was tragically cut short by a bullet fired in the dark. We are here today for Kian and for the countless innocents like him who died in the name of a misguided, bloody war on drugs. To our people and to everyone here, I say enough. Enough with the gaslighting. Enough with the distractions. Enough with the squid tactics. We cannot be knocked off course by words meant to confuse or mislead. At this point, there is one voice we must focus on. One that was used under oath in the halls of the Senate. Last week, former President Duterte himself spoke before the Senate and the nation, and in his own words, took responsibility for the blood spilled in his war on drugs. He did not deny. He did not deflect.
Sorry,
He admitted that he gave orders.
ginamit nila yung Senate
Orders that directed our own police forces
record.
to encourage suspected criminals to fight back so they could be killed. Under oath, he told us this without shame and without remorse. This was not hearsay. This was not a speculation. This was a declaration from the man himself.
Pare,
He went further.
mamin kasi.
Under oath, he admitted to the existence of the Davao Death Squad, an entity with a lethal mandate that was replicated around the whole country when PRRD was elected president in 2016. But the former president did not stop there. He pointed his finger at the sitting senator, a member of our very government, and named him a part of the DDS. Not a Duterte defending senator, no, but a member of the notorious Davao Death Squad. Ano ang sinabi ni PRRD? And I quote, yung isang senador, yung nakaupo dyan, si Senator De La Rosa, Death Squad rin yan. End of quote. And now comes this familiar refrain.
Yari si
It was
Duterte.
all a joke. Biro lamang daw. But I ask you, my friends and my colleagues, I ask you, who makes jokes under oath? Who laughs while mothers bury their sons? Who finds humor in this horror? This is no laughing matter. The lives lost, the grief that lingers, the blood spilled in our streets. These are not punchlines in a cruel joke. These are lives.
Yan. Under oath
Young,
kasi.
innocent lives
Under oath.
taken from us.
Ang sinabi.
But perhaps we should not be surprised. Perhaps we should not be shocked that this sacred issue, the sanctity of life, is treated so trivially. For we have seen time and time again how human life has been cheapened, how easily these men speak of death, how casually they wash their hands of the blood of the innocent. As Proverbs 31 verse 8 and 9 reminds us, and I quote, "Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy." End of quote. We are commanded to raise our voices for those who cannot speak, to seek righteousness for those who have been silenced, and to demand justice for those who have suffered unjustly. This, my friends, this is why we must not falter.
Hindi talaga pwede ang biro-biro sa Kongreso. Iba itong mga congressman talaga.
Why we must not turn
Madiin
away.
ang mga statement.
We have a responsibility, not only to the victims, but to our nation. We must continue this work, unyielding, unrelenting, uncompromising. Mga kasama, we have the statement of the former president.
Yan na.
We also have testimony and evidence that corroborates what he said under oath. Now, we must hold to account those who have perpetrated these heinous crimes.
Yan na.
Now we must ensure that the cries
May
of
pananagutan na
helpless
si
are not
Digong
drowned
Duterte.
out by laughter, that the dignity of human life is restored, and that no one, no matter how powerful, is above the law. And as we press
Correct.
forward,
100% yan.
let us remember this. We do not stand here alone. We stand with Kian. We stand with his family. We stand with a 3-year-old killed by a stray bullet
Wow.
in Cebu.
3 years old.
We stand with a 9-year-old killed in Caloocan.
Walang kalaban-laban.
And the death certificate showed that he died of pneumonia. We stand with a tricycle driver gunned down just because the drug lord rode in his tricycle. Ladies and gentlemen,
Grabe, no?
we stand
Walang kalaban-laban.
with every victim of this dark and bloody campaign. The banality of evil must come to an end. We stand for those who cannot speak, for the voices that were silenced too soon, and we stand with the promise, the solemn vow, that we will do everything in our power to ensure this never happens in our country again. So with hearts full of resolve and eyes fixated on justice, let us continue this work. For if we are to be remembered, if the 19th Congress is to be remembered, let it be not for the jokes or the gaslighting, but for our dedication to the truth, our commitment to justice, and our compassion for those who suffer. Mga kaibigan,
Yan na.
maraming salamat
Grabe, no?
po.
Titindi ng mga statement nila. Congressman Barbers, Committee on Illegal Drugs. Abante, Congressman ng Committee on Human Rights.
The chair of the Committee on Public Order and Safety,
Ayan, si
Congressman
Fernandez.
Dan Fernandez.
O yan, dali. Sino mauna? Fernandez ba?
Mr. Chairman, I have no opening remarks for.
Walang opening daw.
Thank
Ayan.
you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank
Okay.
you. The next to deliver his opening remarks is the chair of the Committee on Public Accounts,
Paduano.
Congressman Caraps Paduano. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. The Joint Committee has conducted 10 public hearings, and
Yeah.
over the course of these proceedings, numerous witnesses have come forward, reinforcing suspicions of widespread abuses during the Duterte administration's war on drugs. Thus, a significant question has arisen regarding the safety of these witnesses and what they stand to gain from their cooperation. First and foremost, I want to put on record that telling the truth is its own reward. There is inherent value in honesty because it upholds personal integrity, contributes to justice, and fosters trust. By coming forward, these witnesses contribute to uncovering the realities of past actions and ensuring accountability. Their testimonies play a crucial role in strengthening the integrity
Yan kasi ang
of our
dapat sagutin ni
institutions
Duterte. Ayaw niyang
and
umarap ng
promoting
hearing ng
justice
Kongreso
and
eh.
transparency.
Binibigyan siya ng pagkakataon, ilang beses na ayaw dumating. Hindi dumarating.
To ensure the protection and security of these witnesses. As a legislative body dedicated to uncovering the truth, the safeguarding justice, the House has a duty to support and protect those who come forward in good faith to share their testimony. The House recognizes the witnesses in sensitive inquiries may face threats, intimidation, or retaliation. As such, it is incumbent upon us to take all necessary measures to shield them from harm. Current laws does not grant the House of Representatives the authority to directly confer immunity from suit. However, we can recommend our witnesses for the Department of Justice Witness Protection Program, which
yun.
offers
May
both
protection.
legal protection and additional support. By making this recommendation, we can ensure that witnesses who provide vital information are shielded from prosecution related to their testimonies, in line with the provisions of Republic Act number 6981.
Mahirap sagutin ni Duterte itong mga
This action
sinasabing ito.
requires
Lalo na pag question and
consent
answer.
of the witnesses and approval of our speaker. In addition,
Hindi pwedeng daanin sa biro-biro. Seryoso mga congressman.
custody to ensure the physical safety of
Justice
those
for
persons
all victims.
who may be at risk due to their involvement in this investigation. While protective custody does not provide immunity from legal actions, it is an established measure that can provide immediate security during the course of our proceedings. Both actions will require a collective decision from the members of the Joint Committee. This ensures that we act transparently and uphold the principles of democracy. Mr. Chairman, before we proceed with the continuation of our inquiry, this representation would like to put on record and address certain critical concerns relative to the conduct of the parallel inquiry of the Senate Blue Ribbon Subcommittee on the drug war implemented during the previous administration on October 28, 2024. To set things into clear
Last week lang yun.
perspective, this representation fully recognizes the authority of the Senate to investigate the details of the implementation of the drug war, as both chambers of Congress are constitutionally permitted to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation in accordance with our duly
Ina-justify lang nila na legal ang aid,
However,
in aid of legislation,
while the authority of the
investigation.
Senate will never be put into question, what is particularly concerning is the seeming disregard for proper courtesy and lack of impartiality by a member of the subcommittee. In particular, I am referring to the actions of Senator Ronaldo Bato de la Rosa. Allow me to discuss this detail, Mr. Chairman.
Kaya na, ano yun? Kay Bato. Ito Bato, makinig ka rito.
Senator Bato de la Rosa action of participating as a member in a proceeding where he is named as one of the individuals involved in the implementation of drug war did not produce meaningful results, but rather cast doubts on the integrity of the whole process.
Nayari si Bato.
Prior to the hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee, Senator De La Rosa even insisted that the investigation should be heard by his own committee. This action of a sitting member of Congress not only
Bidang-bida si Bato,
disregard the existing rules
Sikat
and
na sikat si Bato.
but also undermines the integrity of the institution that he is bound to respect. Kung sa simula pa lamang ay gumamit na siya ng impluensya, ano pa ang aasahan natin sa kanya sa mga gaganapin nilang pagdinig?
Yari talaga.
He was the PNP chief when the previous implementation introduced the war on drugs. He also admitted that there were killings attributed to the war because of alleged cases of nanlaban.
Kaya ingat tayo sa eleksyon.
In short,
Tandaan natin ang karapat-dapat at hindi.
he was not only
This
involved,
coming election, May
but was in fact
2025.
one of the figureheads of the campaign during its inception. Hence, he should have been mindful that his presence in the hearing as a member of the panel will compromise, if not invalidate, the whole proceeding. Hindi naman pwedeng ikaw ang mag-imbestiga sa iyong sarili. Clearly, this is conflict of interest on his
Yari
part.
Bato.
At the very least, he should have inhibited from the proceedings and instead offered himself as a resource person
Yeah.
so as not to influence and intimidate the other guests.
Naloko na.
Unfortunately, the
Sermon
honorable
ang
senator
inabot.
failed
Nilekturan,
to
sinermonan. Hindi ba si Bato?
Even after the hearing, Senator Bato continued to conduct himself in a manner contrary to what is expected from a member of Congress. Asked about his comment on whether he was part of the Davao hit squad, whose existence was confirmed under oath by former President Duterte during the subcommittee hearing, Senator De La Rosa downplayed the same, claiming that the former president was just joking and there was no death squad to speak of. Now begs the question, why would a committee member defend and even interpret
Oo.
a clear statement made by a resource person
Yari talaga
in a
si Bato.
congressional hearing?
Ba't nga naman ipagtatanggol yung
The
ganon?
confirmation by the former president needed no interpretation, much less from a member of the panel who investigated the same. If you would ask me,
Natakot yata si Duterte, hindi dumating eh. Kasi iba ang dating ng congressman talaga.
came to the defense
Direct to
of the
the point.
former president while seeking to exonerate himself from any liability. This is further highlighted by his recent statement that he will be objecting any action of the Senate regarding the submission of records to the ICC. The Honorable Senator's recent actions are truly disappointing, Mr. Chairman. We are conducting these inquiries in order to fill the legislative gaps and address problems that necessitate immediate solution. In doing so, we also want to ascertain the truth about the abuses and other acts related to illegal drugs, POGOs, energy case. Mahirap man ang hamon sa atin na palabasin ng katotohanan. Sa palagay ko ay napagtatagumpayan natin ito. In closing, this representation wishes to remind our Honorable Senator to observe courtesy and fairness in conducting his official responsibility as a member of the Senate instead of resorting to other means so as to discredit
Ang
the
lupit.
efforts of this body. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madamong salamat.
Grabe ha.
Thank you, Congressman
Ang
Paduano.
titindi ng speech ng ano, ang titindi ng opening statement ng mga chairman.
May we request
Ayan, bakante yung upuan, no? Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Honorable
Ayan po,
members
bakante yung
present,
upuan.
as well as our
Binigay talaga sa kanyang pagkakataon, hindi siya dumating.
And the COMSEC is directed to acknowledge the presence of the members as
Oo,
well as
kasi hindi ho talaga yan. No? Nag-ano lang, ano, nag-ano po yung
But
roll
before
call mo.
that, let me inform everybody that for today's committee hearing, dalawa po yung ating topic. No? Ang ating topic sa umaga ay yung usapin tungkol po sa illegal drugs. And then later in the afternoon, we will shift to the issue of the extrajudicial
Ayun,
killings
oo.
as a result of the
Related din yan
implementation
eh.
of
Illegal
Humarap
drugs,
Act. So,
extrajudicial
Comsec,
killing,
please
human rights
acknowledge
violation.
our guests and our members.
Antindi po
Thank
no.
you, Mr.
Hindi,
Chair.
mag-ano ng attendance lang po ito, yung mga
Honorable
present
chairs.
congressman. Antindi ng speech
For
ng ano,
today's
antindi ng mga sinabi ng mga
hearing,
congressman, no? Noong
We
opening
have with
statement ni
us
Barbers,
Honorable Robert H.
ni
Barbers,
Paduano at saka ni
Honorable Dan
Abante.
S. Fernandez,
Alaga.
Honorable Joseph Stephen
Yari,
Tarrax
si Duterte at saka
Paduano,
si Bato. Pati si Bato na sermonan.
Abante Jr., Honorable
Lumambot kaya si Bato?
Romeo Acop, Honorable Raul
Ako ko, Senador Bato, ay kailangan magpaliwanag ka rito. Bakit nga naman ikaw yung mag-iimbestiga sa sarili mo? Eh ikaw daw ay akusado, dapat hindi ka nag-iimbestiga. At huwag mo daw baguhin yung statement ni Presidente Duterte, former President. Walang biroan doon dahil under oath. Ayan po ang sinasabi. Aloko na.
Honorable Edward Vera Perez Maceda, Honorable Zia
Nagro-roll call pa ho ng mga yung mga present congressman. So, ayan, opening statement pa lang, boundary na, sabi nga nila. Ibig sabihin, nakita na natin yung direksyon, yung paninindigan, yung tapang, talino, at lakas ng loob ng Kongreso dahil sila ay House of Representatives, House of the People, kinatawan ng mamamayang Pilipino. Sabi nga ni Speaker Martin Romualdez ng opening ng Monday, speech niya, hindi sila patitinan. Ang sino mang nagbabalak na pigilan sila, nagkakamali kayo. Hindi papipigil ang Kongreso sa paghahanap ng katarungan at katotohanan. At yan ang dating. Ano yung mga bisita dumating nakikita. So yun ho, pinanindigan na ngayon ng mga chairman ng komite. Wala lang opening statement si Fernandez. Pero yung po mga tatlong chairman ng komite, Paduano, Barbers at Abante, madiin. As in madiin. Kasi tigas ng bakal ang kailang pagdidiin ng paghahanap ng katarungan at dapat managot at mananagot ang mga sangkot dito, especially ang dating Pangulong Duterte at si Senador Bato. Ayan, De La Rosa.
From the National Police Commission, we have
Matindi.
Commissioner Alberto
Iba talaga ang hataw. Iba talaga ang dating ng mga
Vice
congressman.
Chairperson and the Executive
Masintabi na sa mga senador, malayo-malayo kayo sa Senado, may biruan pa, nanligaw ka ba? Bakit ayaw mo tumingin kay Dilima? Yung mga ganon. Mga ganong hugot, wala ka kwenta-kwenta. Dingo Estrada.
Regional
Diba?
Director Ferdinand
At yung
Attorney Ross,
mga iba pang mga senador.
Galicia, Attorney John Mark
Parang parang hindi na tama yung mababa at mataas na kapulungan. Parang nabaliktad na yata, mas mataas na kapulungan ang Kongreso. Pagdating sa pagtitiwala ng taong bayan, iba ang dating ng Kongreso talaga. Sintabi na sa mga senador. Mga senador, bumawi kayo. Nakakahiya kayo. Ang tatapang nyo magtanong sa ibang mga hearing, ibang komite, pero pagdating dito sa karapatan ng tao, human rights violation, katarungan ng sigaw ng biktima, walang tapang ang Senado. Nawala ang matatapang na senador. Asan kayo? Ang Kongreso, consistent yung tapang nila. Lakas ng loob. Harapin ang kahit sino. Panagutin ang kahit sino. No one is above the law. Yan ang kailangan natin. Kongreso ng Pilipinas. Yung senador, tahimik na, nagiging tagapagtanggol pa ng mga inaakusahan. Kakaya. Yan si General Torre, nandito rin. Ayan,
Police Brigadier General Nicholas Torre III, the Director of the CIDG.
Mga abogado ito. Dito, mga
Police
testigo.
Brigadier General
Hindi ko alam. Dalawa pa rin topic na yan, illegal drugs at saka yung extrajudicial killing, human rights violation. So, ibig sabihin, magpupuyatan na naman ito. Hanggang maghapon ito, hanggang gabi na naman ito. Dumating o hindi, si Duterte, marami hong pag-uusapan. Yan ang nangyayari dito sa
we have
hearing.
with us from the National Union of People's Lawyers,
Dami, ang
we
daming
have
guest.
the former Bayan Muna Congressman Attorney Nery
Kung
Colmenares.
dumating si Duterte, paano kaya sasagutin yung mga tanong na yan? Saka yung opening statement pa lang, matindi
We have
na.
also representatives of
Ano nyo i-counter yun? Siguro kaya nga hindi dumating.
and victims of families.
Daming dahilan. Sabagay, may kasabihan tayo, pag ayaw, maraming dahilan. Pag gusto, maraming paraan. So maraming dahilan kaya hindi dumating.
Pasco, Cristina Pascual, Marian Erorita, Salvacion Ramos, Shira Escudero,
Marami,
Rowena Morales, Norma
Si
Lopez,
Conte, at yung abogado ng mga complainant sa ICC.
Arias.
Saka ito si
And of course, we have with us
Colmenares.
the Advocates for Human Rights,
kasi yan ito. Dami ang mga abogado rito. Abogado ng mga
Missionary
biktima.
Rebecca Lawson and Deaconess Robilin Litaw.
Also from Program Paghilom, we have its Executive Director, Father Flavi L. Villanueva, SVD.
Ito. Si
Mr.
Father
Randy
Villanueva.
Santos,
Tsaka si Dilima. Ayan,
Miss
Ito si Dilima,
Arcelia
ito si
Chico,
Father
also
Villanueva.
witness, Tesam Castillo and
Ayan,
Elizabeth Campo.
Daming resource
From
person.
the Bureau of Corrections, we have with us Mr. Ian Jake S. Harabe and Senior Superintendent Gerardo F. Padilla. Again, from the
Si
Philippine National
Senador
Police,
Ontiveros lang talagang
we have with us
bumida
Police
at
Colonel
nanindigan sa
Rolando
Senado. Yung
Villela,
iba senador, wala talaga.
Police Colonel
Sayang.
Serafin
Nasunod
Petalio,
sila.
Police
Senador ng
Colonel
Republika yung iba senador ng
Marvin Marcos,
iisang pamilya ang dating.
Police Colonel Redentor Olsano, Police Captain Delfinito Anuba,
Salamat po kay
Police
Sel
Lieutenant
Fernandez,
Colonel Santi
Angelina
F.
Millanes, salamat po.
Police Lieutenant Colonel
Eagle
Jason
Slick,
Bombasi,
Severino
Senior
Alat, salamat po.
Inspector Emil
Si
Garcia,
Elizabeth Williams, salamat din.
Police
Si
Major
Risa
General
Perona,
Felipe
salamat.
Natividad,
Yunida,
Police Colonel Police Colonel Loie D. Jonglay, and those from the CITG, Police Colonel
daming resource
Serafin,
person, grabe.
the same, Serafin Petalio, Police Lieutenant Colonel
Nandito pala si
Chimedel
Wilkins, yung dating
Dayran,
director ng
Police Lieutenant
Director
Colonel
General ng
Marcelino
Bata ni
Basconilio
Duterte ito
Pico
dati.
Jr.,
Director
Police
General ng
Lieutenant
PIDEA.
Colonel Raycon Lalaan Garduque, PSMS Deborah Cruz
Si
Cordova.
Wilkins Villanueva, dating PIDEA.
Another set of PNP officials.
Dami mga abogado director.
The
Si Lasso, yung PIDEA,
now
kasalukuyang
the deputy
Director
acting
General ng
mayor
PIDEA.
and
Si
former
Bernardino,
police
commissioner ito si
Brigadier
Atty.
General
Bernardino.
Edwin Carranza, Police Colonel
Bernardo.
Edwin Quilates,
Napolcom
the former
commissioner yan.
Batangas Provincial Director. Also from the CITG Halili,
Bisita.
Police Senior Superintendent
Matatanong kaya lahat ito? Wow.
Carranza,
Sige po natin.
Senior Superintendent Edwin Quelantes, Senior Superintendent Gayran, and
Geran.
Senior Superintendent, Police Superintendent Joseph Reyes Arguelles,
Ba't wala si
and
Hector,
Police
Hector
Superintendent Judy
Grijaldo, yun yung nagsabing
And from former government
Inutusan daw siya.
officials, we have Mr. Wilkins M. Villanueva, the former Police PIDEA Director. He is here. And former Senator Laila S. De Lima, and Police Colonel Edelberto Leonardo, and Police Colonel Jovi Espinido. We also have with us Mr. Carlos Conde, the Philippine researcher of the International Human Rights Watch.
Attorney Conde yan. Abogado ng mga complainant
We
before
also
ICC.
have with us Miss Rose Nonolin.
Dami ng guest, Matanong kaya ito mga ito. Ang dami talaga nakaka-interest sa Kongreso.
Mr.
Mas
Chair,
marami na pupuntang resource person dyan.
Mr. Chair, can those,
May I ask first, Congressman Abante, to let us allow do you still have a lot of names to acknowledge, Comsec?
No more, Mr.
No more.
Chair.
Okay, sige. Okay, thank you. Congressman
can they
Abante.
just sit right there in the witness chair, those that have been called?
Di pa. Yung iba hindi pa nag-out dyan.
You have a person in particular who you would like to sit in front because
Pag kinakain ito mga congressman, ang mani.
Peanut.
Peanut. Oo, buti pa sila, may kinakain mani.
Is too small for our guests. So,
Nguyaya si
Congressman
Abante kumakain ng peanut.
would like to see face to
O ano ba
face.
yung kinakain niya?
Example, Miss Roslyn is here and I don't see her.
Miss
Roslyn.
Roslyn, are you here? Are you present?
Nonolin.
Can you take the seat
Ayun pala Oo,
in front of
Walang upuan.
Congressman Abante? Yes,
ayan.
Sir, we also have with us Attorney Dexter Lopez from Tagum, also a human rights advocate, and
Tagum? Sabi yung
Mr.
Tagum.
Sunny
Di ba saan yan? Sa Davao? Tagum,
Okay.
Davao ba?
So,
Anyway.
thank you, Comsec. So we will now proceed to all our guests. Good morning at welcome po dito sa ating 10th Joint Public
Sampung public
ng
hearing. Ang
Quadcom.
dami na pala, no?
Medyo
Wala si
pagpasensyahan niyo na po.
Grijaldo.
Medyo baka matagal-tagalan po tayo ngayon sa dami po ng ating naimbitahan. And we will try our best to really be able to
Si
ask
Bato,
you,
invited, hindi
questions,
dumating. Si Duterte, invited, hindi dumating.
hearing for today. So,
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Congressman Fernandez and then Congressman Abante.
Let's try to look at the names that are being mentioned by the COMSEC. And I think is in the last 2 pages. Actually, minomonitor ko po yung mga binabanggit niya. And tong sila other key personalities and yung mga minention din ni Colonel Garma are not yet mentioned yet. So, di ba hindi finish your
Hindi pa natapos pala.
mentioning of all those persons who are present today?
Yes, sir. Those I read are the ones present, but we invited a lot of personalities. I guess it's in the
So in other words, you are done with the those who have
yes, those who are present.
present today.
Those who did not appear today, I think will be tackled by.
Hindi pala. Yung pala hindi nabanggit. Hindi pala
Yes,
hindi
Congressman
na-confirm.
Kaya ko po binanggit si Ms. Roslyn. Tinatanong po sa akin ni Congressman Fernandez kung nasan siya.
Okay.
And nasa harapan na po siya. Makikita mo po.
Okay. Thank you, Congressman Abante. Now, we will
Ano
proceed
ibig
with
sabihin,
the admin matters and we
Wala
have
biro din ito si
call
Abante.
on Congressman Paduano. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ito na yung status ng mga
Before we proceed
invited.
with the admin matters on all invitees, Mr. Chairman, with regards to documents being requested and ordered by this honorable committee, particularly number 1, the DOJ, for the DOJ, conduct and submit to the Joint Committee on Investigation against
dapat dumating si Duterte at saka si Bato para yung side nila
Mayor
nadidinig ng mabuti.
Espinosa,
Lalo si
and
Bato,
the
talagang
remarks
durog na
as of
durog
now
eh.
is ongoing. Can we get some updates on this from the NBI and DOJ, Mr. Chairman, with regards to Mayor Rolando Espinosa killing, the investigation that was directed to you by this committee, reopening of the investigation? Just a brief lang po.
Your Honor, yesterday I met with the representatives of the DOJ and I was informed that the Secretary of Justice,
Remulla.
Attorney Boying Remulla, has just created a special task force
Ayun na, meron na
that
pala.
would assist the Quadcom in the investigation and the filing of the necessary cases against
Ayun na.
anyone that would be
Ayun na.
found liable in
Ayun na pala.
the course
Gumagalaw
our
ng DOJ.
investigation.
Thank you.
For all extrajudicial killings that happened. And they will submit to us an update, a progress report.
Sabi ni
as
New
to
Delhi na
how far
nakuha, kung kakandidato raw
justice has
si
gone in the
Ontiveros, si
investigation.
boboto niya. Pero senador pa ho siya hanggang
Mr. Chairman, for
2028.
the clarification.
Pahalal
Now
lang
let's
niya.
go to PDEA.
Meron pa siyang another 3 years.
Provinces and or areas with DGQ-related drugs. Anyway, I've talked with DG Lasso. Ang problema po, nahirapan silang kumuha ng record. So ongoing to, but I instructed the Lola that the DIDM should provide us all the documents available with regards to all the drug-related killings from 2016 to 2022 and directed them to submit the documents within the day.
Ayan,
So let us see if that documents will suffice with regards to the investigation of all
Rebecca
EGG
Lagmay,
cases
thank you po.
from
Salamat po.
2016 to
Salamat po.
2022. Now, to the DFA, they have already submitted the records of Edita Young and to the AMLAC with regards to asset preservation order to the properties of Edita Young and the spouses Pangilinan. Still ongoing, no? Still ongoing. Now, and all other documents that was requested last hearing, that was October 22, was already submitted to the COMSEC, Mr. Chairman. And as of, I have just received a document coming from the Legal Affairs Department of the House of Representatives with regards to possible application of granting of legislative immunity to to the members, to the witnesses of this investigation, Mr. Chairman. And I move, Mr. Chairman, that discussion on this letter coming from the legal affairs will be deferred on the later part of this hearing, Mr. Chairman.
That's
So move, Mr.
noted.
Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, let's go with the invitations now. Now, I have with the committee has received a copy of letter coming from the law office of Castaños and Teves representing Ms. Muking Espino and attached herewith are
Binabalikan po kasi nito Paduano yung mga record ng mga invitation, ng mga nailabas, dumating at hindi.
Muking Espino.
Hmm.
And this is an answer to the show cause order that was issued last October 22, 2024, Mr. Chairman. And with this, Mr. Chairman, I move that we issue a subpoena ad testificandum for Ms. Muking Espino on the next hearing, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion to
Subpoena.
issue a subpoena ad testificandum for Ms. Muking Espino.
Yeah, Muking Espino, Mr. Chairman.
Muking Espino and duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And I would like to
Subpoena na.
inform Mr. Chairman, to the Chairman, that the address supposedly to send invitation for Ms. Muking Espino should be in the city government of Davao because Muking Espino is employed in the said local government unit, Mr. Chairman.
Comsec, please take note of the address of Ms. Ermina Espino.
We have also received a copy of a letter coming from the lawyer of Senator Bongo. His explanation why I cannot attend today's hearing. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, we have received a copy from the Chief of Staff of Senator Bongo and the person of Gregorio Angelo Villar, Mr. Chairman.
That's noted.
Mr. Chairman, we have also received a letter that was signed by Cesar P. Manalaysay, managing partner of Mr. Len Wishong, and informing this committee that Mr. Len Wishong is currently out of the country and will not be able to attend the hearing.
Nasa abroad na.
While Ms. Rose Nonolin, the spouse of Mr. Len Wishong, is also present today. Thank you for coming, ma'am.
Ayun, dumating pala yung asawa.
Next is
Ayun pala yun, no?
coming from Ms. Attorney Carpio. Attorney Mans Carpio. And in
Uy.
this letter, Mr. Chairman, he is requesting
Asawa ni Vice President.
is requesting to be excused in today's hearing because of no ample time to prepare and study nature, purpose, and scope, and is requesting 4 copies of the following documents at least 3 days before the next schedule. Affidavits of witnesses, minutes of the previous meetings, inquiries,
Bak, dami
other
hinihingi.
similar unrelated documents or statements.
Daming demand.
With this, Mr. Chairman, I move that we defer discussion on this letter sent to us by Mr. Mans Castro to be discussed, Carpio to be discussed on the later part of this hearing, Mr. Chairman. With regards to the documents...
Asawa po yun ni Vice President, si Atty. Carpio.
Mr. Carpio, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion as stated. Any second? Duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And we have received a copy of a letter coming from the former Commissioner Faldon. And since he's...
Commissioner ng Customs yan.
Yes, former Commissioner Faldon is present.
Mr. Chairman, since he's present in today's hearing, we'll just ask him about the content of his letter and the later part when the time of former Commissioner Faldon will be up to.
Dati po rin Director General yan ng Newly Prison.
Mr. Chairman, we have
Yukor.
received a copy of a statement from the Science Batch 80 with regards to the Barayuga case, no? And calling for justice. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, we have received the copy
Justice
of that.
for Barayuga,
This letter
yung
coming
pinatay
from Science
na board secretary ng
Science
PCSO.
Batch 80.
Nakakakuha ng suporta siya ngayon dahil na-expose na ho yung nangyaring krimen.
And we have also a copy of a letter coming from the Department of Foreign Affairs with regards to the whereabouts of Ismaila Roque, whereabouts of Eddie...
Mrs. Roque, asawa ni Roque. Where are you?
Jean and the basis for cancellation of US visa.
Ah, kinansil lang visa.
Just for the record, Mr. Chairman.
Visa ba o
And
passport?
if the committee would want to discuss about it, we will discuss this in the later part of this hearing. Mr.
Mamaya
Chairman.
marami nabitin, ano ha? So, si Mrs. Roque, nahanap pa rin.
And lastly, turn to the last na po, Mr. Chairman, we have received a copy, letter coming from the former retired
Retired ba?
Police Senior Superintendent Eduardo Raceto. As for my knowledge, he's with our meeting today through Zoom, Mr. Chairman.
We have extended an invitation to the former
Police.
Colonel Acerto, who is now in
Serso,
Zoom.
naku, yun, daming alam
And
nun.
will be called later.
Yun ang may expose against Duterte nung araw. Eh. Saka kay Sara at kay Bato. DDS daw, DDS operation, alam na alam nun.
Mr. Chairman, second to the last lang ko to. We have also received a letter coming from Mercado and Associates Law Office representing Police Colonel Hector Gijaldo and attached with
hinahanap.
contract between Police Colonel Gijaldo and the services of Mercado and Associates Law Office. And the letter was signed by Attorney J.P. Mercado. Is Attorney Mercado present? Comsec? Attorney Mercado? Okay. Mr. Chairman, we defer discussion on the letter of
Colonel Hector
Gijaldo.
Gijaldo.
Since the lawyer of the good Colonel Gijaldo is present, we will just ask.
Hindi dumating si Colonel.
Mr. Chairman.
Ito yung nag-akusas, tinuruan daw siya doon sa statement niya.
Now,
Ni Abanti at ni Fernandez. Ngayon, hindi naman dumating. Abogado lang daw.
Mr. Chairman, just a while ago, we have received now.
Mr. Chair,
No?
with the indulgence of the Honorable Paduano,
With the indulgence of
Congressman Acop.
Congressman Paduano, Congressman Acop, you're recognized.
may I know if Colonel Grijaldo
Ayan na.
has an excuse letter insofar as his absence in today's hearing is concerned?
Tinira niya kasi ang Kongreso eh. So,
None. Attached with is the letter, no cover letter of coming from the lawyer himself, and at the same time, only attach medical certificates without a letter excuse coming from Colonel Grijaldo, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, may I move that we issue a show cause order to Colonel Grijaldo to explain his absence in today's hearing in spite of the invitation made. So move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion to
Yari.
issue a show cause order to Colonel Grijaldo for being absent today.
yan na.
Any second?
Second,
Duly seconded. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Nako, yari na.
And lastly, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
just on the topic of Colonel Hector Grijaldo,
Ito kasi yung nangira sa Congress eh.
going through the pages that were sent regarding his absence,
Tingnan natin. Ako. At si
nakikita ko po
Congressman
dito
Suarez
sa
to.
kanyang,
Suarez to. Deputy Speaker
patients
Suarez.
first.
Hmm.
Apparently, this is a medical explanation kung why he is not here because he's suffering from shoulder pain. Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, there is no date indicated
Ay, ganon.
in the prescription letter. Other than that, on another page of his medical certificate, again, there is no date mentioned in his
Ay, kailangan
letter
talagang
that
mag-explain.
he
Di
has
Colonel
forwarded
Hector
to the committee.
Grijaldo.
So I would just like to find out, Mr. Chair, is this verified and true?
maybe we can ask his lawyer.
Ito kasi si Grijaldo, ito po nagsabing tinuruan siya ng Quadcom na aminin na merong reward system. Ayan ho, kinagagalit ng mga congressman dahil wala naman ng turo ng
Which is
gano'n.
something that I noticed when I was going through the
Doon sa Senado kasi nagsalita yun. Ayan. Yan, pinag-i-explain siya.
Dapat hindi na po ako magsasalita about this because he mentioned our name in the affidavit that he testified in the Senate.
Oo nga. Siya. Fernandez at saka si Abante ang tinukoy dyan.
yung motion po ni Chairman Ako. Ngayon ko lang po nga nakita na wala siyang excuse letter and justified po yung pag-move for the show cause order. And at the same time, yung binanggit naman ni TS also yung pong medical certificate, I think this is a prescription. And accordingly, nakalagay po dito yung
Reseta ba yan?
yung,
Reseta pala yan, hindi pala yung check-up.
yung chronic left shoulder dislocation, and there are like procedure for MRI. Maybe we can ask the
Bigla nakakasakit ang testigo ah.
that
Parang si Duterte.
PO natin.
Ano, nasa Senado, ayaw umuwi. Pero doon sa Kongreso, iniimbitahan ilang beses na, ayaw naman dumating. Bakit kaya? Di ba sa Senado, ayaw umuwi yung Duterte. Tapos na yung hearing, ayaw pa umuwi. Dito, hinihintay, hindi naman dumarating.
What really transpired during your conversation with Rialdo, may I ask you to vacate your position at co-chair and be the spokesperson or the resource person?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As a matter of fact, that's what I intend to do, to inhibit myself in the discussion about this issue. And together, maybe with Chairman Bante, we will be trying to relieve temporarily our chairmanship in order to discuss this in transparent and impartial and honest investigation on this matter, because this pertains to the integrity of this Quadcom, and we don't want that this Quadcom be deluged with so many bad comments about what Chairman Abante and this representation have done in order to better the truth about the
Pinagbintangan pa sila.
conformity of Colonel
Pinagbintangan ni
Rialdo.
Hector.
Unfortunately, he's not here right now, and he is sick, and that saddened us as well, because we wanted really to the members to ask him about what really happened, if there was really indeed a coercion and harassment that
Biglang nagkasakit si Colonel. Bakit kaya?
Chairman Abante and myself.
Ganda sana ito. Eye to eye, face to face.
If we will be discussing our issue with Colonel Grijaldo already, this representation on I will be yielding my position as a chairman of this committee.
Mr. Chair, thank you, Congressman
And
Fernandez.
also be subjected to the procedure of a resource person. If indeed we need to be subjected to the procedure being undertaken by this committee.
Okay, that's noted, Congressman
Mr. Chair.
Fernandez. Before that, Congressman Jong, let me ask if Congressman Paduano is already done with your
Not yet, Mr. Chairman. This will be
matters.
the last.
Sige, tapusin mo na si Paduano kasi ang update ng mga invitation.
In terms of Congressman Paduano.
Sandali, may tanong sino yan. Tapusin mo na si Paduano.
I proceed, Mr.
Please
Chairman.
proceed.
Ayan.
Mr. Chairman, and last, but not the least, at last, we received a letter coming from the former president,
Ayan na. Yeah.
Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the authority given to Attorney
Delgra.
Delgra, as his counsel in this investigation, Mr. Chairman, just a while ago, and I think all the members has a copy of the letter coming from
Anong laman yan? Sige nga.
Attorney Delgra, with regards
Martin
to
Delgra. Legal counsel.
the reply of the former president on the invitation of this committee, Mr. Chairman. So I give the floor to
Mr. Chair.
the chairman and to the wisdom of the members of this committee how we will go about
Ayan,
with regards to the
bakante
letter
ang upuan niya,
of
Rodrigo
Attorney
Roa Duterte.
Delgra representing the former president. And Comsec, may I ask, is Attorney Delgra present? Not today, sir.
Naku.
Before we discuss with that, Mr. Chairman, I move, since, of course, he has a letter sent to us, the former president, giving authority to Attorney Delgra. I move, Mr. Chairman, that we issue a show cause order for Attorney Delgra to be present on the next hearing on the basis of his letter, and the authenticity of such authority given to him by the former president. So mo, Mr. Chairman.
Ayun. Si Delgrama isasalang.
Mr. Chair, before we rule on the motion,
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just
let me allow the members who wish to manifest. No?
Ano yung laman ng sulat?
While we are at this subject matter on the letter sent to us by Attorney Delgra as the counsel to the former president, may we ask what is the pleasure of Congressman Adyong?
Mr. Chair, before I touch on the issue raised just now by Chairman Caraps Paduano, Mr. Chair, while our invitees' names were mentioning by our ComSec, I noticed, Mr. Chair, that one of our invited guests is present in today's hall. I noticed that the former Commissioner Nicanor Faye
Dito si
stood up when his
Paul
name
Gutierrez,
was mentioned.
dating
And just
Media
to be
security.
fair to our guests who are present today, may I humbly request, Mr. Chair, that our ComSec assist our guest to his seat, because I believe I saw his name tag, nameplate on the table, so he would
Ayan,
he will be seated properly at the table,
daming
Mr.
bisita
Chair.
kasi.
So may I
Ito si
request
Paildon.
former
Paildon.
Commissioner Nicanor Faldon
Paildon.
to proceed to the table to his assigned seat and direct our secretary to please assist him.
Ayan, si Paildon, dating Customs Commissioner,
Please assist,
dating Director General ng Bureau of Correction
Commissioner
under
Faildon,
Duterte
please,
administration.
seat.
Tungkol sa drugs siya ang napag-usapan dyan dahil kasi
Mr. Chair, may I proceed, Mr. Chair? On the matters of the letter of Mr. Chair.
Yes, please. Please proceed.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I believe, Mr. Chair, that the letter that was sent to this committee is about the reasons why the former president opted not to attend this committee hearing. As we all know, Mr. Chair, previous days ago, he attended the Senate inquiry on the same subject matter, Mr. Chair. I would just like to be enlightened as to how do we go about with the standing invitation to our resource persons. I understand, Mr. Chair, that the committee, this Quad committee, has been so lenient to the former president and to some individuals. And I agree with the leniency we have extended to the former president. According to him, being a former president and being a former head of state, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, some of the guests here who were not present, sent us a letter, an excuse letter, specifying medical reasons. And for some, they have also sent their lawyers to represent them. I believe the lawyer of the former president, Attorney Delgra, is being given authority by his client, this being the former president, to appear on his behalf. Because as I was glancing over the letter of Attorney Delgra, specifying the reasons why the former president decided not to attend this committee hearing, and some of them are, to me, is some of the reasons, at least on my part, the way I understood it, is not only on the basis of him avoiding or refusing to attend the Quadcom, but he even went to assail the integrity of the Quad Committee.
parang gustong palabasin dito ni Congressman Adyong, mga kaibigan, walang VIP treatment dito. Lahat dapat umattend, dapat magpaliwanag.
In the Senate, our counterpart
Dapat may mabigat na rason kung bakit hindi makakarating. Ang galing, di ba? Walang VIP treatment. Pantay-pantay. No one is above the law. Ito ang gustong palabasin dito. Kasi nga, yung iba nag-a-attend, bakit yung iba hindi?
This be clarified. As to
Wala kasing immunity na si Duterte, tapos na po ang term niya. Former president.
attacking the credibility
Ayan o.
of the Quad Committee, and to some extent even questioning the impartiality of some of the members here, and in totality questioning the integrity of this Quad Committee.
Ayan o.
I really would want to ask Attorney Delgra to expound on this letter.
Tama. Explain niyo mabuti.
Because the former president attended the Senate committee investigation.
Ayaw nga umuwi.
And so
Tapos ng
to
hearing sa Senado, ayaw
share
pa
his
umuwi.
thoughts on
on his
O kasi
policy
sa Kongreso, ang daming dahilan.
war against illegal drugs. And as I was glancing over the letter, I also noticed that there are even some allegations of subordination. That some of the members here coerced a certain individual to say something.
Pinagpapaliwanag si Delgra
Inducing perjury.
bilang
So that
lawyer
is
ni
something
Duterte.
to me that is cannot be just simply ignored because it borders criminal acts, Mr. Chair. And the third one, Mr. Chair, is that the reason why the former president
Abogado rin po ito si Adjong, lawyer po yan. Abogado po yan, congressman.
he has
ng Lanao.
sufficiently and generously shared his inputs and insights and comments to the Senate subcommittee chaired by Senator Coco Pimentel. But unfortunately, my confusion, Mr. Chair, is that when his allies, his spokesperson was asked about the truthfulness of his responses to the interpellation of one of the members of the Senate, he told the public that it was merely a joke, that the truthfulness of the statements of the former president seems to be in question. Because how can we take something which is a joke? So it makes me, it's difficult for me, Mr. Chair, to just simply take as it is at face value the transcript from the Senate when we do not even know which part of his statements is a joke and which part of his statement is real and true. These questions I would really want to ask to his lawyer. Now again, we don't require the former president to be present because we accorded to him the leniency and the respect that he deserves as a former head of state, as a former president. But then again, these allegations of impartiality, questioning the impartiality of the Squad Committee, assailing the integrity of the Squad Committee, at the very least, Mr. Chair, I really was expecting that Attorney Delgra would be present, and rather than just send to us a simple 3 pages letter.
Oo nga.
At the very least, he could at least enter his message.
Irespeto ang
his
Kongreso,
appearance, Mr.
irespeto
Chair.
ang
So I
Quad
just
Committee.
want to be clarified on how do we go about with this. Kasi una-una, Mr. Chair, parang look at all our invitees here, Mr. Chair. Some of the most important personalities that would give us insights and
May point
inputs
po,
for
malaki
this
ang point
committee
dito
to
ni
be
Adjong.
guided properly and correctly
Dapat pare-parehas nga
in
naman.
arriving to a sound judgment once we file before the plenary and report before the plenary, the committee hearing are not here, are not present. Some of them, bigla na lang sumasakit ang mga bali. Bigla
nakakadahilan, bigla
sumasakit
nakakasakit.
sa mga katawan nila. Some of them are still...
Ang lalakas pag walang hearing. Pag may hearing na, may sakit.
Mga search warrant.
Tapos ng hearing, ayaw umuwi. Pero dito, iniimbitahan, hindi man dumarating. Tatawa ka lang talaga.
That these individuals
Yan ang sinasabi kong pag ginusto, maraming paraan. Pag ayaw, marami ring dahilan.
took the oath of allegiance to the Constitution. At alam po natin ito lahat. Upholding the Constitution without mental
Haba ng
reservation
clarification at
of
speech nito si
acts of evasion.
Adjong, Attorney
The
Adjong,
very
Congressman.
Constitution that is sworn to uphold and pledge the allegiance to gives us the mandate to constitutionally exercise our oversight function. What they're doing right now, Mr. Chair, is a clear act of evasion. Mr. Chair, I just want to be clarified. How do we go about with this kind of situation, Mr. Chair? Thank you for that manifestation, Congressman Adyong. We will address that concern later when the committee deliberates on the contents of the letter sent to us by Attorney Delgra. Yes, Congressman Flores, you are recognized.
Mr. Chair, Attorney Delgado is just being the lawyer, Mr. Chair. He's just, I think, stating the reasons given to him by his client, the former president. So if we insist that he be present, Mr. Chair, I don't think he will be the best person to answer the questions that we may have, it should be the former president himself.
Ayan na.
But I do not agree with the reasons he stated in his letter, Mr. Chair. But I don't think he's the proper person to ask, Mr. Chair. He's just
Gusto nila si Duterte talagang sumagot, ang humarap, hindi lawyer.
Mr. Chair,
we have a situation here now. Congressman Adyong asking for clarifications as to how can he address the former president intelligent questions that needs answers directly from the former president, while Congressman Keith Flores is just stating that Attorney Delgra cannot answer these queries that
Yes. Wala namang kinalaman si Delgra sa DDS eh.
Mr. Chair, may I respond to that? Just a chair. Very short, Mr. Chair. Short, very brief, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Aguilar first, and then Congressman Fernandez.
Thank you very much.
Just make it short.
Very brief, Mr. Chair. I understand, Mr. Chair, my good friend here, Congressman Keith Flores. But number one, Attorney Delgar was chosen by President, so he confidently have trust on Attorney Delgra to at least respond on his behalf questions. Number two, the position of this representation simply is on the matters of the content of the letter. I will not be asking Attorney Delgra on how the previous administration implemented the war on drugs. I understand that he is not capable and he is not competent to answer these questions. I would simply wanted to ask, since his signature is affixed in this letter, I would simply want to ask how, I'm pretty sure they have discussed this over with his client. So I just want to elucidate to us, how did his client, the former president, arrive into this kind of conclusion? Because what appears to me, Mr. Chair, and what I do not simply cannot afford to understand is that the House of Representatives being part of a two bicamerals chamber of House.
Lower
of
and
Congress.
upper nga eh.
The Senate on one hand,
Philippine
and
Congress.
the House on the
Isa
other
yan.
hand, that a certain individual can simply select which institutional office he would like to go to. Now, to me, the former president had displayed a very active participation during the Senate investigation. And how come he cannot afford that? The respect that we have accorded to him because he was a former president. And I do not at least expect him to give us praises.
Mahirap ang sitwasyon.
To even, at the very least,
Kasi kung nirespeto ni Duterte at ni Bato ang Senado, dapat irespeto rin ng Congress kasi isa naman yan. House at saka Senate. Upper and lower chamber. Mababa at mataas na kapulungan. Philippine Congress, isa yan.
Questions I would like to ask to Mr. Attorney Delgra. And some of the members here, Mr. Chair, entered their appearances here. So do we also extend the same courtesy to Attorney Delgra?
I absolutely agree with you, Congressman Adyong, that we will have to require the counsel of the former president to enter his appearance before this committee. Unfortunately, when we received that letter the other day, we tried to reach him and ask for his presence for today so that maybe he can point out some or maybe answer some clarifications we may...
Pwede naman tanongin si Delgra, pero pag doon sa ibang issue na personal, hindi may tatanong doon. Hindi mo sasagot doon. Kasi lawyer siya. Lawyer lang.
If I may, what is the point of order, Congressman Ako?
Ayan na.
There was a motion a while ago for Attorney Delgra to be issued the show cause order. But pursuant to our records, we haven't invited him. In accordance with our protocol, an invitation is supposed to be made first, and if he does not appear, a show cause order will be issued by the committees. So I think we should issue first an invitation to Attorney Delgra for him to appear and show to us yung service engagement agreement that Attorney Delgra has with the president, former president. simply because it would be consistent with our protocols. In the case of Michael Yang, Attorney Raymond Fortun was
Fortun,
asked
yeah.
to produce yung agreement po nila ni Mr. Michael Yang at saka si Attorney
Tinontempt si
Fortun.
Michael
So,
Yang.
Mr. Chair,
Wanted
to be
na nga yun eh.
consistent
Sa kamera.
with our protocols,
Kasi may warrant of
I
arrestation.
move that we issue an invitation to Attorney Delgra rather than issuing a show cause order. So move, Mr. Chair.
Invitation muna, then bago.
To invite Attorney Delgra.
Yeah.
Sige.
Chairman, before we go with
With the indulgence of Congressman Akop, because there was a motion that the chair and the committee was about to rule. Now, because of that, there are interjections. And because there are interjections from the co-chairs, we would like to entertain first before we rule. Now, in this case, Congressman Paduano
Mahirap yan ang trabaho ng chairman. Grabe. Ito yung barbers.
Fernandez.
Puro magagaling
and
itong mga congressman. Hirap i-manage. So, ayan, oh. Kaya kailangan,
Is that
kailangan mapagbigyan lahat.
Mr. Chairman, ganito lang po, Mr. Chairman, why I moved to issue a show cause, but I don't have any debate with regards to the possible amendments to my motion with regards to show cause order for Attorney Delgra. But remember, Mr. Chairman, that we have already sent 2 invitations. This is the second hearing that we invited the former president. And the first invitation was answered by Attorney Delga. Now, on behalf of the president, in the absence of that authority being requested by this committee through this representation during the last hearing.
Ay, oo nga pala.
Now,
Oh.
Mr. Chairman, looking at the answer, looking at the reply of Attorney Delga on the first hearing, well, in fact, Mr. Chairman, naglulukuhan tayo dito. Why? Why? Because the first reply made by Attorney Delga representing the former president is that the excuse is that the former president needs much rest,
Oh.
and assured this committee that he will be present
Next hearing.
in the next hearing.
Yun, correct.
At the same time, he has a specific date, Mr. Chairman, given to this committee through this letter.
Ayun pala eh. Yari talaga si Delgra.
November 1. And let me read, Mr. Chairman, allow me to read in toto the portion of such reply coming from
Yun pala eh.
Attorney
Meron
Delga.
palang pangako na darating eh.
Hence, my client
Next hearing.
respectfully requests to defer his appearance before the Honorable Committee scheduled tomorrow. Rest assured of my client's willingness to appear before the House of Representatives on some other available date, preferably after November 1, 2024. And for the record, Mr. Chairman, the invitation that was sent to the former president and was answered by Attorney Delga was before the presence of the former president in the Senate. And he has promised us, this committee, through his letter, that after November 1, he will be present in today's hearing. Ano to? Naglulukuhan tayo dito?
Yari.
Well, in fact, I will not discuss and argue with our colleague, Congressman Kit Flores, with regards to the content of this second letter. But, malinaw po, Mr. Chairman, na naglulukuhan tayo dito.
Galit na si
Naglulukuhan tayo
Paduano.
dito because the first letter promises us that he will be present after November 1. Kung hindi tayo naglulukuhan dito, ay ano? Natatakot siya? Na pumunta dito?
Yan na, galit na.
That's why, Mr. Chairman, that's why my first motion was to issue a show cause order
Ayun na yun,
for
na-justify.
Attorney Delga to answer both letters.
Not invitation.
Mr. Chairman, and I would like to reiterate once again that we should invite again the former president to be present in the next hearing.
Mr. Chairman.
So I move.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Paduano.
Galit na.
As I promised, Congressman Fernandez.
Galit na si Paduano.
On the motion, Mr. Chairman,
Congressman Albo.
Mr. Chairman, there are three reasons mentioned by Attorney Delgra in consultation with the former president para hindi po siya umattend ng ating pong hearing. First, binanggit po niya yung pangalan ko at binanggit niya yung pangalan ni Chairman Abante.
Ayun pala eh. Ano yan?
That nag-prejudge na po kami doon sa mga binanggit niya po doon sa Senado and citing some provision of Republic Act 1951, particularly Section 6 on the willful killing. And with this, Mr. Chairman, we are being accused that nabahidan ng prejudgment yung mga issue that he mentioned. With that, Mr. Chairman, para lang po mawala na tong issue to. Again, Mr. Chairman, I'm willing, this representation is willing to inhibit myself in asking questions with regards to this.
Yan. Galing ni Fernandez.
And I hope that
Nag-inhibit siya para hindi magkakulay.
Chairman
Yun, galing.
Abante
Yan ang kailangan.
in
Hindi katulad ni Bato, ayaw
this
mag-inhibit.
issue that the former president, with consultation of his lawyer, cited in this letter. Secondly, that's the reason why we asked the presence of Colonel Grijaldo to be here, because he accused us of coercion and harassment and threats. And that's the reason why we are questioning, yung mga medical certificate that he submitted to this Congress. We wanted that the integrity of this Quadcom will be cleared eventually. And with that,
Galing,
Mr. Chairman,
Willing siyang mag-inhibit. Hindi siya sali na magtanong
that he
para hindi
accused us.
mapag-dudahan na siya bias. Galing. Okay yan. May prinsipyo, mama. Buhay ka.
Thirdly, Mr. Chairman,
Congressman
the only
Fernandez.
last reason that he mentioned in this letter is all the questions were already answered in the Senate. And that is not true, because we have a lot of 20,000 questions that we wanted to ask him. And with this, Mr. Chairman, yung po reason niya for not to be here is not acceptable.
Ayun na.
So, Mr.
Hindi
Chairman,
katanggap-tanggap
I
talaga
believe
yun.
that my position
Biglang nagkasakit, sumakit ng balikat.
in trying to inhibit ourselves, in
Kernel,
this
sa
investigation,
akin, sayang naman, sinusulat din yan.
Number one issue that he mentioned.
Tama ba yun? May biglang nakakasakit ng kernel?
We will comply with the mandate of this Quadcom to inhibit ourselves and be a part of the resource persons that will be questioned by the members of this Quadcom. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Dan Fernandez. Now, Congressman Ace Barbers. There was a motion earlier that
Chairman yun,
the committee invite Attorney Chairman, you are recognized. Thank you. That Attorney Delgra, being the
Nagkakabiro na.
of the former president, be invited in the next hearing. And we direct the committee secretariat to take note of that and send the invite in the next Quadcom hearing to Attorney Delgra.
Ayan.
Any second? Julie seconded. Any objections?
I object, Mr. Chair.
May I know what is the objection of Congressman?
We get nothing from him, Mr. Chair. He always just gonna say is that is what my
Ayaw ni
client
Flores.
said. So that
Kasi nga naman, abogado lang yun eh. Hindi naman, walang kinalaman yun sa DDS. Ayaw niya. Ayun o, nag-break tuloy. Okay? Sabi ni Congressman Flores, kaya nag-object siya, wala naman tayong makukuha doon kay attorney. Di ba? Kasi ang kailangan nating tanungin ay si dating Pangulong Duterte. At yan din ang gusto ni Paduano. Ang sabi naman ni Congressman Acop, yung kanyang motion, atin mo nang imbitahan si Delgra bago ang subpoena. Magkaiba kasi yung subpoena kasi explanation yon. Pinag-i-explain siya kung bakit siya hindi dumating. Ang sabi ni Acop, imbitahan muna natin. Sabi naman ni meron ng invitation at saka yung kanyang pangako na darating siya after November 1. Ano ba ngayon? November 7 na, hindi pa dumarating. So yan, so nagtalo-talo. Ayan, kaya kinukwestiyon ngayon ni Flores yung anong authority anong makukuha kay Delgra kung dumating. Ayan si Congressman Barbers.
The parliamentary status is that we are approving and voting on the motion by Congressman Acop to invite Attorney Delgra, being the lawyer and counsel of the former president. And when the chair asked for a second, there was a second to this motion. But when the chair asked for an objection, there was an objection stated by Congressman Keith Flores. Am I made to understand, Congressman Flores, that you are withdrawing your objection?
Mag-withdraw siya? Withdrawing ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'll withdraw my objection if Attorney Delga will enter his appearance. But as far as the questions that we want to ask of him, Mr. I will reiterate my position, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that is
Okay.
noted. Thank
Good,
you.
good.
Since
Yan ang importante ng break eh. Nakakaayos sila.
the objection of Congressman
Kakaintindihan.
Flores has been withdrawn, then the chair will rule that the motion is approved. Yes, Congressman Adyong,
Yeah,
your
before, I
manifestation.
guess we have already ruled on the motion to invite.
That's correct.
Just to put context, Mr. Chair, of the manifestation of this humble representation. Mr. Chair, the reason why I wanted Attorney Delga to be present, in fact today, and not pass dun sa next meeting is, I agree with Congressman Keith Flores
Ayun na.
that he is not competent to answer questions pertaining
Sabi
to
na nga ba eh.
implementation.
Abogado
of the
kasi yan.
war on
Siyempre,
drugs.
hindi naman siya
But
involved
just to be
sa
honest,
BD.
Mr. Chair, I don't
BDS.
think the former president will ever attend the Quad Committee hearing. I'm sorry to say that.
Okay.
I really have a strong feeling that he will never attend the Quad Committee.
Ayaw daw.
And since Attorney Delgra is
Duterte.
his lawyer, I would wanted to ask him about the content of his letter. I'm sure he's a capable lawyer and competent enough to elucidate to this representation, being a non-lawyer, what does he mean by subornation? Because
Yes,
that's one of the allegations. Number two, Mr. Chair, I also wanted to ask Attorney Delgra, which part of the testimony of his client to the Senate during the committee hearing, which portion of it is joke and which portion of it is true? Because he's trying to provide us, from advising us to just simply request the transcript from the Senate. Mr. Chair, I have no problem if
Grabe, no? Tapos na yung
individuals
term ni
want to,
Duterte, 2 taon na. Ito pa rin ang problema. No?
Want to
Kulang sa coordination.
make other people's laugh all the time. I have no trouble with that. If you want to turn yourselves as clowns, that's your business, that's your concern. But not at the expense of serious issues.
Ayan na nga naman.
Not at the expense of the collateral damages, the innocents who have died during the course of the illegal war on drugs.
Okay, thank you,
That's
Congressman
my only
Adyong.
point, Mr. Chair, that I'd like to manifest.
Yeah,
Thank you
your
very much.
observation is noted, and we will consider discussion on that particular
Naniniwala si
observation.
Adyong, hindi raw dadarating. Hindi raw dadalo talaga.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for
Duterte.
your manifestation. Now,
Okay. Sino? Salang na. Sino
marami po
dami-dami
kasi tayong
testigo?
naimbita at dalawa po yung ating topic ngayon, no? Yung EJK at saka yung ating drugs. No? And we will proceed first with the topic on the illegal drugs. So, may we ask the COMSEC first to please administer the oath of the resource persons we invited for the first time in this committee hearing. And then we will proceed with the hearing proper. COMSEC?
Yun ang mahirap, no?
Thank you, Mr.
Hindi
Chair.
nakikipag-coordinate yung iba. Well, may mga technical and legal issue kasi po yan.
And
Kaya lang ho, yung mga dahilan, may sakit. Yung isa, sumakit ang balikat.
for
Yung
the
isa, pahala na kayo kung katanggap-tanggap yung dahilan.
truth and nothing but the truth in this congressional inquiry. So,
Si Paildon ito. Dalawa, tatlo sila. Yung
Yes.
bago.
thank you.
Dalawa lang ba?
They all said yes,
yung bago
sir.
pala. Yung basta likod, mga
Oath
polis.
has been administered. Thank you.
Daming, no?
Okay, maraming
Oras na ng panahalian. Kumain na ba
sa
itong mga
ating
ito?
mga resource persons.
Dos na pala.
COMSEC. I have here a list of those people, of the members who wish to interpolate. But before that, there is a manifestation by Congressman Bordado. You are recognized. You're given 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I rise today to express my commendation for the
Bordado.
exemplary work being conducted over the
Congressman
past few
Bordado pa.
months
Parang ngayon lang yata lumabas.
by
Nakita ko ito.
what is now popularly
Third
known
district
as
ng,
the
ano ba ito?
Quadcom,
Amarinis?
a veritable super body
Tama ba?
composed of 4 standing House committees tasked to investigate the issues surrounding the Philippine offshore gaming
Bicol o nga,
operation
Congressman
focus
Bordado ng Bicol.
and the extrajudicial killings. First and foremost, Mr. Chairman, I would like to recognize
Dean
tireless
Cristina
efforts of the chairman of the
Sordelia.
following
Salamat po, ma'am.
committees.
Salamat po.
Representative Robert A. Barbers of the Committee
Dean
on
Cristina
Dangerous Drugs,
Sordelia.
who
Salamat po.
acts as the chairman of the Quadcom. Representative Dan S. Fernandez of the Committee on Public Order and Safety. Representative Bienvenido M. Abandi Jr. of the Committee on Human Rights, and Representative Joseph Caraps Paduano of the Committee on Public Accounts. Their leadership, transparency, and unwavering commitment to truth-seeking have been truly commendable.
Wow.
Through their painstaking efforts, the Quadcom has not only brought critical issues to light, but
Congressman
also
Gabriel
raised the bar for
Bordado
how we
ng
should
3rd District
approach
ng Camarines yata ito. Bicol.
investigations in this chamber with integrity, impartiality, and a clear sense of purpose. I also wish to extend my deepest gratitude to Senior Deputy Speaker Dong Gonzales, Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez, and Representative Romy Ako, the Chair of the Committee on Transportation and Vice Chair of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs. Additionally, Mr. Chairman, I must commend our esteemed interpellators, young and very intelligent, who have fearlessly asked the difficult questions and examined the facts with diligence. Their perseverance in scrutinizing the details and challenging those who stand before the committee has brought us closer to the truth, and in turn provided a glimmer of hope to the families of those affected by this
Lori
tragedy. Mr. Chairman,
Mamawag. Huwag kayong mag-alala.
I had every
Aabot po sa korte
intention to
itong
join
usapin
this
ito.
interpellation
Kasi ang
myself.
DOJ po gumagalaw na
As it
na mag-review sa
stands,
mga ebidensya.
I lack the
Para i-file ang kaso.
comprehensive data that my colleagues
Maganda po ang coordination ng DOJ at saka ng Solicitor General at ng Quadcom, Kongreso.
in their capable hands.
Nasa Solicitor General na po yung mga dokumento, yung unang report kung sino ang pwedeng kasuhan
moves us
ng
closer
administratibo at kriminal. Kaya ho, may kahinat yan yung mga
justice. As stated earlier
may problema
by
rito sa
Representative
hearing na ito.
Abante, no one, no matter how powerful, should be immune from accountability. The perpetrators of
Oo,
this
marami.
heinous
May tatanong
acts
dito, bakit daw walang mga
must
tulpo?
face
Tatlo
the
yung
full
congressman,
consequences
tatlo yung
of the law.
tulpo, tatlo yung rebilla. Walang nakikita tayo sa hearing na ito. Marami pang congressman, hindi nagpapakilala, hindi nakikita.
Result.
Yung mga mag-iina dyan, magkakapatid na congressman, wala. Wala tayong naririnig.
The Pogos has revealed
Yung mga kamag-anak, incorporated na congressman, di nag-aatid ng public hearing. Ewan ko anong ginagawa ng mga yan.
about their impacts on our society. The revelations
Kamag-anak,
surrounding
incorporated yung mga
criminal activities tied to these operators demand our swift and decisive action to ensure that such harmful elements are rooted out and prevented from further damaging our social and economic fabric. Mr. Chairman, let us remain united in our pursuit of truth, justice, and accountability. We must not allow this investigation to falter, nor the voices of those who seek justice to go unheard. As public servants, it is our duty to ensure that the truth is uncovered, that justice is served, and that we work together to prevent such abuses from ever
Haba ng speech ni
occurring again.
Congressman Bordado.
I once again thank and commend the chairman
Pinupuri niya kasi ang kanyang mga kasamahan.
and all those who have
Pampataas ng
worked
moral ito, ayos.
tirelessly to champion the cause of truth and justice. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Wow, pinuri niya yung kanyang
Thank you very
kasamahan.
much, Congressman Bordato. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagpupuri sa Quadcom.
Pagpupuri.
This would not have been
Pagpapataas
possible
ng moral
because,
sa mga
as we
kongresista.
all know,
Galing.
without the support of the Secretariat,
Justice for
the
all.
members of the 19th Congress, as well as the leadership of the House headed by the Speaker himself, Speaker Martin Romualdez. So before we proceed with the...
Ganda yung ganyan, may pa ano.
Yes, Congressman Suarez?
Yeah. Just because the good congressman mentioned my name, can I just have 2 minutes?
You have 2 minutes.
Yeah. I would like to thank Congressman Bernardo for your kind words. But the success of the Quadcom is not solely because of the efforts of the representatives of the 19th Congress, but also of the resource persons who
Ayan, good. Tama.
Who
I-recognize
need
yung
time.
mga resource person.
who patiently wait for their time to be heard and to be given the opportunity to explain. That's why I would like to manifest, Mr. Chair, my disappointment that our former president
Ayan na nga.
is absent today. In fact, dito po talaga natin malalaman yung katotohanan pag nabibigyan natin ng pagkakataon ang mga tao magsalita at magpaliwanag. At kung hindi po natin bubuksan ang mga usapin na mabibigat at mahihirap, paano po natin mabibigyan ng hustisya at katarungan at sagot sa maraming tanong na bumabalot
Deputy
sa
Speaker
ating
sa
bansa.
JJ Suarez to.
Napakita na po
Quezon
ng
Province.
ating community na
Anak ni Congressman dati
nagbibigay
yan,
at
Danny
nakakapagpapas
Suarez.
tayo ng mga proposed legislation. I would like to commend the chairman of this committee for again earlier today going to the records department and submitting another proposed measure.
Yes, meron, oh.
Which I think will benefit the country with regards to the forfeiture of illegally source properties na pwede pong maibigay at magamit ng ating mga mamamayang Pilipino.
Oh.
So muli, Congressman Bernardo, nagpapasalamat po ako sa mga magagandang salita mo at sana magsilbing inspirasyon to para sa ating lahat na patuloy po natin ipaglaban
Pati
ang
ibang mga congressman, hindi sumasali, sumali na kayo. Magtrabaho naman yung iba.
Tamang solusyon.
Hindi natin naririnig yung iba eh.
Problema na hinaharap ng
Yung isang apelyido niyan, magkakamag-anak na congressman, tumulong naman kayo.
Suarez. Before we proceed with the hearing,
Marami pang congressman hindi nagpapakilala. Where are you?
Just came in.
Yung sweldo at allowance nyo, kompleto. Pero yung trabaho, mukhang kulang.
Congressman Loidan Suwan, Congressman Patrick
Nakapal naman ang mukha ng ibang congressman.
Congressman Jefferson Conghun,
Hindi dumadalo.
Congressman Salvador Plato, Congressman Joboy Aquino. Welcome and good morning po sa inyo. Now, we have on Zoom a former member of the Philippine National Police
Colonel.
who was the, if I'm not mistaken, the deputy of the drug enforcement group that operated on several illegal clandestine shabu laboratories and anti-illegal drug operations in the past. No? And I think he is now on Zoom. May we ask Colonel Asierto if
Asierto. Si Colonel Asierto. Ako, daming alam niyan. Nung araw pa nagsasalita yan eh. Against Duterte.
Nandiyan dyan sa...
Pati nga si Inday, dinamay yan eh. Pati si Bato. Pati si... Ayan na.
Okay. Magandang umaga sa iyo, Colonel. Colonel, maaaring alam nyo na po no, na ang ating topic ngayong umaga ay tungkol po sa illegal drugs. And bilang isang operatiba ng anti-illegal drugs noong kayo'y nasa Philippine National Police pa, maaari po bang bigyan nyo kami ng idea kung ano ba ang inyong mga operation noon na may kinalaman dito sa pagpapahinto nitong illegal drugs dito sa ating bansa?
Marami po kami ginawang operation. Ang example po is yung sa Antipolo, ang una pong laboratory na nahuli na merong na-actual na nagluluto at more than 1,000 kilos ang nakuha po doon.
Meron din po kaming nakuhang laboratory sa Mandawi, Cebu.
Excuse me lang po, wala ho kasi kayong video eh. Pwede bang, can we ask the technical, pwede bang may video? Yan. And kayo, nakikita niyo po ba ang komite? Colonel Asierto?
Hindi po. Hindi ko po nakikita.
So, can you,
Pero naka-on po ang video ko.
yan. Can you please, technical? And before that, habang inaayos pa ho ng technical, may we ask you to take your oath, Colonel Asierto. Comsec, please administer the oath.
Sumuboy po ako kanina.
Nag-oath ka na kanina.
Sumuboy po ako para save time po.
O, hindi po namin nakikita kasi, Colonel, so pwede po ba nating ulitin nang sa ganun, may record po kami na kayo po sumumpa at nag-oath. Comsec, please take note.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Sir, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this congressional inquiry, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Asierto.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you, Colonel Asierto. Pwede po bang ulitin ninyo inyong report kanina?
Banggitin ko lang po yung mga ibang mga naalala ko mga operation namin. Una po yung San Tipolo na unang pagkakataon na merong nahuling actor na nagluluto sa loob ng Shabu Laboratory at sobra 1,000 kilos ng shabu ang nakuha doon. Sumunod isang Mandawi, Cebu na mga more than 16 yata na foreign nationals na nandun na mix. Meron Indonesia, Malaysia. Then yung famous na shabu Tangge sa Pasig. At ang isa pa ay ang sa Davao. Sa Dogoy, Davao City.
Another expose na naman to.
Shabu Laboratory doon noong 2004, December 31 po. Yun lang po yung marami pa ako kaya hindi ko na po maalala. Pero yun po yung mga significant na trabaho namin.
Sige, maraming salamat po, Colonel Asierto. Ang aming pong mga kasamahan dito ay gusto rin pong magtanong sa inyo. The first to interpellate is Congressman Benny Abante. You are recognized, Congressman Abante.
Magandang umaga sa iyo at Colonel Asierto.
Tanghali na.
Magandang umaga po.
Kayo po pala ay na-assign na sa iba't ibang PNP stations, ano po?
Sa totoo po, ako po ay lagi naka-assign sa mga task forces. Hindi po ako na-assign sa station o sa probinsya. Lagi pong special unit yung ating pong assignment.
Magaling.
At kayo po ay
illegal drugs at sa PAOPIA.
At kayo po ay nasa ilalim ng sino pong opisyal, usually. Sa isa lang po ba kayo nasa ilalim sa opisyal o ilang opisyal lang kayo po ay nasa ilalim nila?
Ang mga boss ko po ay yung mga director namin, director ng INSOT o Task Force Commander na sila General Alipay hanggang umabot kay General Bacalso, General Nick De Leon, General Gakbat. Then yung bandang huli ang pinakahuling boss ko po ay si Colonel Pero, si General Mijares. Yun po ang mga naging boss ko po.
Alam po ba nila ang inyong involvement sa mga operasyon na ito? At alam po ba nila ang inyong mga in-expose recently? Involved po ba sila dyan o hindi po?
Ako po, hindi man po ako nagtatrabaho ng di alam ng boss ko. Alam po nila lahat yun. Kung ang tinutukoy niyo po ay tungkol sa report na ginawa ko tungkol kay
Liang at kay Alan Lim. Alam po yan ng aking director during that time na si Director Miares.
Meron po ba silang ginawang report tungkol dito o kayo po ba sinang nag-agree po ba sila sa inyo o sila po ba ay sumang-ayon o
Mantra.
nakasama kayo upang i-expose itong mga bagay na ito?
Kasi yung palad po, sinabit ko po ang report ko kay General Bato, pero wala pong nangyari. Hindi po niya inaksyonan. Iba po ang ginawa niya. Ang ginawa niya is ang kinausap niya ay si Alan Lim. Imbis na ako yung kausapin na gumawa ng report, si Alan Lim ang kinausap niya. Then, nagbigay din po ako ng report kay Director General Aquino ng PIDEA. Sa kanya naman po, in fairness po sa kanya, pinatawag niya ako, kinausap niya ako, in-explain ko sa kanya yung report ko kung paano ko nakuha, at ang sabi niya, ipapaabot niya sa Malacanang. Pero, nung pumutok na po ito, medyo nag-deny po siya na ang sabi niya is hindi niya maalala kung kanino niya binigay sa Malacanang.
Naku, ano.
Nakakapagtaka naman po noon eh. Napaka-importante yung report. Di alam kung kanino iniwan yung report kung hindi binigay. Then nagbigay din po ako ng report kay General Albayalde, Chief PNP Albayalde. At noong una, dininay niya, ganun din, dininay niya noong una, pero nung sinabihan siya mayroong litrato, medyo naaalala niya. So inamin din niya, pero wala siyang ginawa. Katulad nila General Bato, De La Rosa, Aaron Aquino, at
Loko na. Daming general na
Oscar
sasabi.
Albayalde, wala silang ginawa doon sa report. Talagang ginabayaan nila yung report. Then, hanggang sa umabot na yung hindi nila ma-dispute yung aking report, ang ginawa nila is ako yung sindaraan. Sindaraan ako at yung team ko. At dahil nga doon, yung isang kasamahan ko na gumawa ng report, binukot, si Captain Lito Perote, hanggang ngayon nawawala. At ang isa ay binaril, namatay, si retired Master Sergeant Jerry Liwanag. Wala pong umaksyon sa report ko.
Ano po ang posisyon ni Senator Bato de la Rosa nung kinausap niyo siya tungkol sa bagay na ito?
Siya po ang chief PNP noon, pero hindi po kami nag-usap ni minsan tungkol sa report ko. Hindi niya ako kinausap. Ang kinausap niya ay si Alan Lim o si Lee Wenxiong. Yun ang kinausap niya.
Kung hindi po kayong kinausap ni Senator Bato, paano po niya nalaman ang inyong operasyon?
Nalaman niya po na meron akong report dahil meron po nagsabi sa kanya na meron akong report tungkol kay Lee Wenxiong o Alan Lim. Nalaman niya yung report ko na kay Director Pascolan. Tinawagan niya po si Director Pascolan at pinakuha niya yung report ko. Nalaman ko po ito kasi tinawagan ako ni General Pascolan. Tinatanong ako kung nag-usap kami ni Chief PNP Bato that time. Kasi bakit ba pinapakuha yung report ko? Ang sabi ko kay General Pascolan, sir, hindi po ako pinakausap. Hindi ko po alam kung paano niya nalaman na meron akong report na ibinigay sa inyo.
Noong pong 2017, sino po ang Director General ng Philippine National Police? Si Bato rin po ba?
During that time po, siya pa po ang director.
At kayo po gumawa ng isang
Director General.
Kayo po gumawa ng isang report noong 2017 na kung saan lumabas ang pangalan ng mga high profile na mga tao katulad ni Michael Yang at Alan Lim na kilalang parehong malapit kay dating Pangulong Duterte. Tama ba ito?
Opo, actually meron pa isang pangalan po doon, si Johnson Chua.
Johnson Chua.
Chua.
Opo, ito pong report na ito ay naibigay po kay Senator Bato noong panahon niya.
Opo, naibigay po sa kanya.
Pero wala po siyang ginawa.
Wala.
ginawa niya po ay ang kinausap niya si Alan Lee.
Oo nga.
Then kinausap siya ni Michael Yang.
Naloko na. Yung inireport niya, ang kinausap, hindi nag-report.
Bakit po niya kinausap si Alan Lee? Palagay niyo?
Ang alam ko po is kinonfront niya si Alan Lee at umamin si Alan Lee sa kanya na siya yung nahuli sa Cavite na laboratory na ang pangalan na ginagamit niya doon ay Wen Lichen.
Grabe. Mga Chinese.
So nga pala, kaano-ano mo si Miss Roslyn, kaano-ano mo si Alan Lim?
Your Honor, hindi ko po kilala si Alan Lim.
Hindi mo kilala?
Hindi po.
Okay. So, Colonel Asierto, yung pong Dumul rape, kailan po nangyari ito? Dumul rape?
December 31 po, 2004.
2004.
Tagal na, no?
Sino po ang
2004.
Director General ng Philippine National Police noon? That time.
Si Gloria Macapagalaro yung presidente nun.
General Aglipay po.
Kaya Aglipay. Okay. Pero nga po kung isang tanong doon, no?
2004.
Sino po ba ang mga taong binantayan ninyo sa inyong surveillance? Tungkol dito.
Ang prominent po doon na pangalan ay si Alan C.
Alan C.
Opo.
Nasaan na po siya ngayon?
Pagod na po. Nasa testimony niya po ni Arturo Las Cañas kung ano yung nangyari kay Alan C.
Nawala na.
Colonel Asierto, pakibanggit nyo nga po sa amin sa Quadcom kung ano ang koneksyon ni Michael Yang sa drugs at ang koneksyon ni Michael Yang sa dating Pangulo.
Si Michael Yang po ay nung inibisigaan po namin yung sa Domoy noong 2004, si Michael Yang po ay hindi namin nakikita. Kasi po ang participation niya ay nagsimula o yung aming surveillance is nagsimula noong October 2004. Pero ang participation ni Michael Yang, base dun sa informasyon na nakuha namin, is nagsimula siya noong August. Ang participation niya is siya yung tumanggap ng dalawang 40-footer container van na naglalaman ng mga saring-saring gamit, ng mga chemicals at equipment at mga ibang produkto na ginamit sa pagtatayo ng laboratory sa Domoy at yung doon sa nahuli sa Cagayan de Oro. Yun ang participation ni Michael Yang sa Domoy. So, August siya nag-participate, pero during our surveillance noong October hanggang mabas namin noong December 31, hindi namin siya nakita. Si Michael Yang po ay una kong natanggap ang information sa kanya noong April 2016, campaign period. Ito po ay ipinakita sa akin ng litrato na magkatabi si Michael Yang, si then presidential candidate Rodrigo Roa Duterte at si Bongo na nasa loob ng isang pribadong eroplano. Yan po ay 2016.
Nasa private
Ang sabi
plane.
sa akin ng asset is magkaibigan si Michael Yang at si then Mayor o Presidential Candidate Duterte. So, nung matanggap ko po yung informasyon dahil 2016 campaign, hindi ko po muna ginalaw kasi parang hindi pa ako hinog yung informasyon. Nung manalo na si Pangulong Duterte at nasimulan na yung war on drug na maraming namamatay, sinimulan ko na po yung aking betting doon sa informasyon na natanggap ko tungkol kay Michael Yang. So, base doon sa
betting na ginawa namin, meron kami nakausap na isang tao na meron ding involvement doon sa pagtatayo ng laboratory sa Donghoy noong 2004. Nagkataon na natagpuan siya ni then Captain Lito Perote. So kinausap namin siya sa Davao noong August 2017. Nag-meet kami doon.
So,
kinausap namin siya.
Ano siya ito? Hindi pa kayo nagkita ni Michael Yang kahit minsan?
Ay, hindi pa po.
Si Alan
Hindi
Lim,
pa po, hindi pa po.
nakita na pa kayo ni Alan Lim?
Ay, hindi pa rin po. Hindi pa rin po.
Meron kaming picture dito na kasama ang dating Pangulo. Can we get the picture there? Na kinakausap niya si Michael Yang at si Alan Lim. So, ibig niyo sabihin, Colonel Asierto, sa inyong investigasyon, na talagang nasisiguro nyo na may koneksyon ang dating Pangulo sa mga illegal na gawain ni Michael Yang at ni Alan Lim. Meron po ba?
Sigurado po ako. Dahil po doon sa nangyari sa akin at nangyari doon sa mga kasamahan ko, very obvious po na siya yung nag-protect. Pinotektahan niya si Michael Yang at si Alan Lim.
Ano pong nangyari sa inyo? Yung po ba ay ginawa sa inyo? O dinecide ninyo? O ginawa po sa inyo sapagkat nakita nyo ang involvement ng dating Pangulo dito kay Michael Yang, kay Alan Lim? Nakita nyo na hindi pinansin ang report ninyo ni Senator Pato, karon din po si ang iba pang mga Director General.
Yung parang lumabas po kasi nung hindi nila ma-dispute yung aking report kasi supported naman po ng mga dokumento. May mga warrant of arrest si Johnson Chua, merong court decision si Yuan Lichen o si Alan Lee sa Cavite. So, hindi nila ma-dispute yung report eh. Ang ginawa nila, sinira nila kami. Naglabas sila ng white paper against us, ginawan kami ng matrix.
Sino pong gumawa nun? Sino pong gumawa ng mga yan? Alam niyo po ba? Kilala niyo po ba kung sinong gumawa sa inyo ng mga white paper na yan? Sila po ba ay nasa loob ng Philippine National Police? Sila po ba ay mataas na opisyal ng Philippine National Police?
Pero po akong suspekta kung sinong gumawa. Pero hindi pa po kumpleto yung aking ebidensya. Pero alam ko namin na siya yung gumawa. Kaya hindi pa po kumpleto. At yung pong white paper ay ginamit ni Pangulong Duterte nung nagsalita siya sa General Santos. Yung papel na winawagayway niya na sinasabing kung ano-ano tungkol sa amin, na ako raw nag-smuggle ng AK-47, nagbigay daw ako ng baril ng AK-47 sa NPA, nakikinat daw kami ng mga Chinese at pinapatubos, at kung ano-ano pang mga pati yung pagpatay sa Koreano, ibinintang sa amin. So,
Kailan po
hindi nila kayang...
Colonel, kailan po nangyari yun?
Yung hindi ko na po matandaan yung exact nung kailan yung yung kanyang public engagement sa General Santos. Pasensya na po kayo, talaga pong medyo mahina po yung aking pag-alala sa date. Pero lahat naman po yan is nasa media. Lumabas na po sa media yan. So, lahat po itong sinasabi ko ay nangyari, mabe-verify po sa media.
Mayroon po ba kayong sariling dokumento na nagsasaad na si Michael Yang po at Alan Lim at ang ibang mga PNP chief ay may connection dito sa inyong iniimbestigahan?
Ang ginawa ko pong report ay nasa kanila. Ibigay ko sa kanila yung report ko.
Kung wala ko kayong kopya ang komite, kung wala ko kayong kopya, pwede po ako magbigay sa inyo ng electronic copy.
Mr. Chairman, do we have a copy of that?
Comsec, do we have a copy of the document from Colonel Acerto?
There were submissions in the past, sir. We have to check if
Just in case lang na nawala yung kopya, can we ask another copy from you, Colonel Acerto?
Opo, ipadala ko na lang po. Lahat po ng dokumento na meron ako, pati mga notes, mga pictures, mga passport picture ni Alan Lim o ni Wen Chong, ipadala ko po sa inyo.
So, Colonel Acerto, of course, alam niyo na under oath po kayo. So, lahat po ng inyong mga sinapit, mga pinanggit ngayong araw na ito sa aming Quadcom ay puros katotohanan po lamang. Wala pong halong katotohanan po ba ito? Ang pangalawang tanong, wala bang halong politiko ito? Ang pangatlong tanong, masama ba ang loob nyo sa dating Pangulo o sa mga Director General, kaya kayo nagsasabi ng ganito ngayon? Pakisagot po.
Sobrang aling na po kung lumakalaban sa katotohanan. Kung ang aking report ay hindi totoo, ay madali po na lang itong i-discredit. Pero hindi nila kagad i-present si Alan Lee o si Michael Yang. Si Michael Yang meron siyang tattoo sa likod. Ang alias niya is Dragon. Kasi meron siyang tattoo sa Dragon. Lahat po yan nasa report ko.
Mayroon po tattoo si Michael Yang.
Opo, sa likod. Oo. Ang alias Dragon po ang tawag sa kanya.
Akala ko ba hindi pa kayo nagkita ng Michael Yang? Paano nyo nalaman na meron siyang tattoo sa likod? Sino yung sa likod?
Yung po yung binanggit nung confidential informant na nung ipinakita ko po yung mga pictures, yung iba-ibang pictures ng mga attendees o iba-ibang photos, tinuro niya po yung picture ni Michael Yang. Pero ang tawag niya, yan po si Dragon. Sabi niya, bakit Dragon? Sabi ko sa kanya, bakit Dragon? Kasi meron po siyang tattoo sa likod ng Dragon.
Pwede niyo ba sabihin sa akin kung sino po yung informant na yon?
Nandun po yan sa report ko.
Sa report ninyo?
Opo, nasa report ko po yun.
Kung pwede po, pakibigay po sa amin lahat ng mga dokumento para makita po namin ito. Yan.
Ibigay ko sa inyo.
Pati po ba yung mga personalidad na nakalagay din po doon?
Opo, meron po yung meron parang siyang summary information ni Johnson Chua, ni Michael Yang, at saka ni Alan Lim.
Okay. Andito po ngayon si Pidea Wilkins Villanueva na nagsasabi na walang kinalaman si Michael Yang sa drugs. Anong masasabi ninyo?
Si Wilkins Villanueva, hindi naman po siya talaga naging, masasabi ko lang, na-involved dun sa surveillance casing build-up doon sa Dromoy. At base po naman dun sa information na natanggap namin, si Michael Yang ay lumutang, ang participation na po ni Michael Yang is noong August 2004. Nagsimula kayong mag-surveillance o magkaroon ng case build-up is October.
Haba ng kasaysayan ng illegal drugs.
Talagang hindi
Ako sino-sino sangkot, grabe.
during the intelligence build-up.
Paano yung
Tapos yung sinasabi rin ni Wilkins sa press con nila sa Malacanang dati, na yun daw pong picture ni Alan Lim, nung mugshot niya, saka yung present picture ni Alan Lim ay malayo. Ang tanong po sa kanya is siya ho ba eksperto sa photograph analysis? Napakadali lang naman.
Nandiyan si Wilkins, yung dating PIDEA Director General. Nandiyan.
Isang tao yan
Yan sa hearing
Colonel Acerto, andito po si...
Ayan, nandiyan niya.
Wilkins Villanueva.
Wilkins
PIDEA,
Villanueva, dating direktor ng PIDEA.
Can you say something about this? Pagkat yung sinabi na walang
Ayan
kinalaman
po yan, dating NCR, tapos naging national director general ng PIDEA yan, before.
Answer this.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yung Dumoy Clandestine Laboratory actually started October of 2004. The information came from the Drug Enforcement Administration ng United States of America. Yun ang start po nun. Tapos the information was passed on me ng PIDEA Intelligence and Investigation Service. I was the regional director of PIDEA Regional Office 11 during that time. So ang information, before kami, gusto ko lang, Mr. Chair, na i-clarify ba?
Yes. Do you know Colonel Asherto
Yes,
personally?
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Kasi sometime October, first week of October actually, nag-meeting po kami nito sa EDSOT ni Colonel Asherto. Kaibigan ko po ito, sir.
Yes.
Mista ko po ito, sir, si Colonel Asherto.
Okay.
So during that time,
Classmate kayo.
na-turn back lang siya, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So graduate ako ahead of him. During that time, Mr. Chair, nagkaka-editan ang PIDEA at ang EDSOT. Kasi ganunan eh. That was the first, yun yung unang, ng PIDEA at EDSOT. So,
Yan ang problema nyo eh. Nagpapagalingan kayo.
yes, during that time. Kaya nga, since mista ko, sir,
Niloko na.
Wala nang pagalingan mo yan.
ay, nung time ko, Mr. Chair, wala nang ganun eh.
Oo.
Noong 2020, wala nang
Kung ano ang katotohanan, di pagalingan.
Sa CCTV.
Yes, sir.
O, kung imagine, pareho kayong law enforcers. Kayo nagbabari lang.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh.
So what happened, nag-case conference kami ni Colonel Asherto. Nasabi niya, may nahagip siyang personality na papuntang Davao. But naputol doon, Mr. Chair, until noong October 26, nabigyan ako ng information na may padating na dalawang Chinese national na manufacturer sa Davao. So from the airport, talaga sinundan namin hanggang sa kung saan sila lumapag. PIDEA pa lang po ang nandun. Wala pa pong EDSOT yan.
Surveillance ninyo.
So, talaga sinundan na namin sila hanggang sa dulo. Ang kagandahan doon, Mr. Chair, is pagdating doon sa pinuntahan nila, that same, yung bahay na pinuntahan nila, that was an apartment. Subject po yun ng previous case operation plan ng PIDEA.
Sino po yung dalawang Chinese?
Mr. Chair, Chinese name eh, hindi
You would know because ikaw ang
yes, Mr. Chairman, 2004, wala na po akong i-find out ko, Mr. Chair, and
may report kayo niya si Ligaya, am I right?
yes, we submitted sa PIDEA yung mga progress report hanggang sa after operation report.
Mr. Chair, may I ask that
Pagpipilitin ko, Mr. Chair, kasi
that you submit to us the report, please. Wala na ba o ano?
pipilitin kong hanapin sa files ko, Mr. Chair, kasi yung sobrang tagal, most of the laptops na nasa akin na corrupted. So, pipilitin ko maghanap, baka na-save ko somewhere along sa mga...
So, naniniwala kayo walang kinalaman si Michael Yang sa drug?
During that time, Mr. Chair, walang Michael Yang eh. Ang alam ko lang na sinabi ni Colonel Asherto is Johnson Chua, which is both. Talagang subject namin dalawa yon. But there was no Michael Yang during that time.
Colonel Asherto, what can you say about that? Sa sinabi ngayon ni General Wilkins. Ano po? Ano masasabi?
Totoo po yung kay Michael Yang na talagang hindi na namin nakita nung mag-start kami mag-surveillance noong October. Kasi nga po, ang sabi ni an informant hunter na August nung tinanggap ni Michael Yang yung dalawang 40-footer container van. Yung sinasabi niya naman po tungkol doon sa information na galing USDA, tama po yun, na galing USDA. Sa akin po ibigay. Ang information na binigay sa akin ng USDA is nagbigay siya ng isang number, nag-load number, na ang last 4 digit is 1988. Kaya medyo natatandaan ko po. So very,
Totoo.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Binigyan nga ako ng log doon ni Colonel Asierto about that.
Okay.
Na yung information niya na yung log na yon, tumumbok na sa Davao. So doon kami nagkatugma. So doon kami nag-collaborate, Mr. Chair.
Anong ibig sabihin yung nasa Davao, General Villanueva?
Yung user nung number na binigay niya is naandun sa Davao.
Pero for yung pong drugs, nasa Davao.
I don't know, Mr. Chair, but yung personality na gumagamit ng telepono na yon is na-trace sa Davao, Mr. Chair. Kaya pumayag ako makipag-collaborate kay Colonel Asierto because, Davao to. So, sa akin, lahat ng pertaining sa Region 11 is under my area. So, ito daw, Mr. Chair, yung sinabi namin, pwede itong first time na to mag-collaborate ang PDEA at police. And it happened, Mr. Chair.
Hanggang ilang taong kayo ron?
Until 2008, Mr. Chair.
2008.
Yes, yes.
So, where were you when the former president became president?
Nasa regional office 10 po ako, Mr. Chair.
You were
Nasa
regional
regional
director at
director.
the time.
Yes, yes.
And you are the...
Regional director of regional office 10.
Are you also involved? Sa PDEA pa rin, di ba? PDEA?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, Colonel Asierto. Colonel Asierto. Colonel
ano
Asierto.
po yun?
General Villanueva attested and agreed with you on on what you said. So, can you continue on? Ano sa mga sabi niya?
Tungkol naman po dun sa mga binigyan ko ng report, siguro po natural na sumama ang loob ko kasi sila po yung aking mga immediate upper class sa PNA. Maging siya General Aquino, class 85, siya ang nag-receive sa amin. Nung plebo kami, sila yung class na nag-receive sa amin. Tapos ang mga squad leader namin, 86. Yung class nila General Bato.
Colonel Asierto, merong nabanggit si General Villanueva na dalawang Chinese na hinabon nila sa Davao. Ay, hindi niya maalala yung mga pangalan. Kayo po ba naalala niyo yung pangalan? Yeah. Colonel Asierto, yung dalawang Chinese na yan?
Hindi ko po alam yung sinasabi niyang Chinese, pero ang target po namin dyan, yung nagpunta kami sa Davao, is si Alan C. na yung gumagamit ng number ng 1988.
Sino pong Alan? Alan Lim?
Alan C po.
Alan C. Okay. So, ilang taon na po silang involved sa drugs sa pagkakaalam ninyo?
Hindi ko po magbigay yung exact na taon kasi nung ma-receive namin yung information na ito, middle of 2004 yung binigay sa akin yung number na 1988 ng USDA.
Until?
Ano po? Yung number na binigay sa akin po ng USDA na mayroong last 4 digit na 1988 is parang ibinigay ito sa akin ng mga middle of 2004 eh. So, pina-verify niya sa akin yun, pina-imbestigahan. Then, after a couple of months, yung isang asset ko po, nandito sa...
Well, medyo mahaba po itong kwentong ito at usapang ito kasi yung bilang-bilang task force, itong si Asierto, marami ho talagang alam ito tungkol doon sa mga illegal drugs ng araw eh. Kailangan dami mga pangalan na babanggit. Ang problema nga lang ho dito malaki natin, tayong mga nanonood at nagsusubaybay dito, ang problema ho kasi wala nga kasing sasagot na lehitimo rito. Dahil ang makakasagot lang dito yung mga si dating Pangulong Duterte At yung pong iba pang mga opisyal, wala naman. Lalo na po ang mahalaga yung dating Pangulo dahil ito po nagbintang na paninira dito kina Sierto at iba pa. So mahabang usapan ito. Well, ang importante dito, na-establish po natin ang mga issue mula pa kanina. Ano ang dahilan bakit hindi dumating si Duterte at ano ang dahilan ng kahalagahan ng kanyang dapat pagdalo. Yan po yun. Hindi nga ako dumarating kasi dapat siya magpaliwanag yan eh. Okay? Marami pang resource person. Maaaring mamaya po yung ibang mga ang inaabangan ko rito si dating Commissioner Paildon ko ano sasabihin kasi may nag-expose nung araw si witness Jimmy Gumba ba yun? O Gamba? Gumba. Na di umano may mga drugs na kunti-kunti na dumadating. Dating Customs Commissioner po yan si Paildon. So, kasi hindi pa sinasalang eh. Ang pinag-usapan ay kay Isyarto pa lang, Colonel at saka kay General Villanueva. So, yun sayang na sayang nga lang ito yung pagkakataon kasi na ang dating Pangulo ay makasagot at sumagot ng tama sa mga tanong kung ano ang dapat tanong. Ay, hindi naman dumarating. Kaya tuloy, nagkaroon ng mga motion dito na sinusupena na yung abogado at yung abogado ay pinagpapaliwanag kung bakit ang dahilan talaga. Kasi doon sa Senado dumalo, ang dami niyang inamin. Tapos na nga yung hearing sa Senado, hindi pa umuwi si Duterte, ayaw umuwi. Di ba, katawanan tuloy sila. Tinatapos na nagko-complemental yung hearing, ayaw po. Sabi nung dating Pangulo, hindi, ayaw ko umuwi. Tapusin na natin ito, di ba? Tapos ngayon, dito sa binibigyan ng mahabang pagkakataon ng Kongreso para magpaliwanag, ayaw naman dumating ang mga dahilan kung ano-ano. Pati si Colonel Hector Grijaldo na tinuturing ng Kongreso na siniraan sila dahil inutusan daw na sabihin na walang reward system. Wala naman pala nagtuturo sa kanya kaya nagagalit yung mga congressman. Hindi rin dumalo. Ang dahilan lang ay may sakit. Masakit daw yung balikat. Hindi naman yung balikat ang tatanungin ni Colonel eh. Hindi naman yung balikat mo ang tatanungin bakit hindi ka makadalo. Ganun. Bakit? Nung nasa Senado ka, wala ka naman sakit. Nung isang linggo lang yun. Bakit ngayon sa Kongreso, ikaw ay kailangan magpaliwanag dun sa iyong binaligtad na statement at sinisiraan mo yung Quadcom, bigla kang sumakit ang balikat, hindi na makakadating. Kaya nga ngayon, pinasupena ka na. Pinagpapaliwanag ka kung bakit hindi ka dumating. Mga ganyan. Kaya nga, ang daming palusot eh. Diba? Pero alam po ninyo, huwag natin bitawan itong isyong ito. Katarungan po ng mga biktima ang sinisigaw dito. Maraming buhay ang nawala. Mahigit na 20,000 buhay. Kabataan pa yung iba dyan. Meron 3 taon, merong 9 years old. Mga minor de edad na sinasabi nila ng laban. Ganyan po yan eh. Buhay po ang pinag-usapan dito. Hindi po ito politika. Dinadala lang nila sa mga pabiro-biro at saka politika pero buhay po ang nawala rito. Kasi imagine yung kung ikaw ay pamilya o membro ka o kamag-anak ka ng 20,000 pamilya, 20,000 tao na namatay dahil sa war on drugs. Anong mararamdaman mo? Di ba magagalit ka? Tapos dinadaan ng iba pabiro-biro at iniimbitahan para magpaliwanag, hindi sumisipot. Ang daming mga dahilan. Ito pong Quad Committee, hindi naman hihiring ito dahil ano sabi ba ni Speaker isang araw nung Monday, nung mag-speech siya? Hindi sila patitinag. Ang magtatry na sila ay pakialaman at sila ay pigilan. Magkakamali kayo dahil desidido, seryoso ang liderato ng gobyernong ito under President Marcos at Speaker Martin Romualdez na papanagutin. No one is above the law, kahit sino. Kahit ang dating Pangulo, kahit ang dating Director General, kahit sino pang mga pulis dyan, na mga retirado acting o active na mga opisyal ng PNP, mananagot kayo. Kasi ang sigaw dito, katarungan. May lumuluha until now na mga biktima. Nakapila diyan sa Quadcom, doon sa baba ng building ng Kongreso. Nakapila diyan ang mga gusto mag-testify ng mga biktima. Doon sa Senado na mag-hearing, nakapila hanggang doon sa ground floor ng Senado hanggang nasa nag-rally na lang dahil dinatawag. Nakapila ang mga gusto mag-testify na sila'y biktima ng pamilyang biktima ng war on drugs. So buhay po nakataya rito. Kaya iniisip ng ibang mga politiko diyan, nakakampi ng mga Duterte, yung mga DDS diyan, o kung sino man dyan, na ito ay lahat paninira politika. Hindi po. Ibalik natin yung sitwasyon. Kayo yung kamag-anak na mga namatay. Di ba sisigaw din kayo ng katarungan? At itong ginagawa ng Kongreso, in aid of legislation lang ito. At lahat ito nasa korte. Kung sinasabi niyo puro investigation, walang nangyayari. Meron na po. Tatlong panukalang batas na po ang naipay nila. Una, gawing heinous crime ang human rights violation, extrajudicial killing. Pangalawa, total ban. Yung proposed bill, total ban ang POGO operation. At yung isang binanggit kanina, yung tungkol dun sa bigyan ng hustisya at mas mabigat na kaparusahan ang ang mga nagiging biktima ng mga minor de edad tulad ni Kian de los Santos pa yun ng Caloocan. Na napagkamalan lang yun, bata, minor de edad, binaril nila, pinatay nila. So tatlong proposed bill na po ang naipile ng Kongreso in aid of legislation. Nagrekomenda na sila before Solicitor General noong 1 linggo pa. Nagsumite na ng mga dokumento, initial findings nila sa kanilang investigasyon. Aaralin ng Solicitor General kung ano ang mga posibleng violation at kasong kanilang ipapile base sa dokumentong isinumite. So in aid of legislation, hindi politika. Meron ng resulta ang kanilang ginagawa. Pinagpapatuloy lang kasi marami pang dapat malaman. Marami pang biktima. Marami pong sangkot dito. Ang problema yung pong kabilang side, tulad ng dating Pangulo at si Senador Bato de la Rosa, hindi dumarating. Ilang beses nang inimbitahan si de la Rosa as former PNP chief. Hindi naman ho iniimbitahan siya as senador ng Republika ng Pilipinas. Ayaw niya dumating. At pinapaira ni de la Rosa yung parliamentary courtesy. Hindi naman ho pinag-uusapan yun. At yun na nga, tinira pa kanina mga congressman. Saka nakakita ng senador na under investigation, siya nag-iimbestiga. So, conflict of interest yun. Kung naiintindihan. At grabe, durog na durog si Bato kanina. Kaya, walang personal ang Senador Bato. Kung gusto mong maipagtanggol mo ang sarili mo, dumating ka sa Quad Committee hearing, sa susunod na mga hearing, para maipagtanggol mo ang iyong sarili diyan sa mga akusasyon na yan. Katulad nito, sinasabi ni Arcertong ito, nag-report daw sa iyo tungkol sa listahan ng mga drug lord. Abay, wala ka daw ginawa. Ang kinausap mo pa yung drug lord, hindi siya. Ay samantalang siya ang gumawa ng report. Again, another case siya. Di ba? Ang lupit. So, matindi ho talaga. Okay? So, nire-recap lang natin, magbe-break muna tayo at aantabayan ko ito. Hindi ko naman puputulin yung aking pag-monitor. At pagka mayroong mga malalaking istorya, breaking news, pabalik ulit ako. Pero pansamantala, magpapaalam muna tayo. Bibreak ko lang muna ho itong ating live coverage. Dahil mahaba masyado itong kay Ashertong ito. Yung iba hong mga testigo gusto kong marinig. Marami ho. Mahigit yata 20 testigo na dyan. So, abutin na hanggang gabi ito. So, hayaan nyo at kung ano man po ang mga development dyan, ay magbe-breaking news ako o gagawa tayo ng mga video na related dyan sa hearing na yan. Pero ngayon, at least na-establish natin ang maraming problema, maraming pwedeng dapat sagutin, maraming pwedeng pananagutan ng nakaraang gobyerno. Masalimuot. Huwag naman magagalit ang dating Pangulong Duterte, talagang kailangan siya magpaliwanag. Hindi po tinatanggap ng Kongreso na yung abogado lang ang magpaliwanag dahil wala namang alam yan sa mga personal na isyong gusto nilang itanong kay dating Pangulo. Ang dating Pangulong Duterte po, mga kaibigan, ay wala ng immunity. Kaya din na po siya talagang imbestigahan at kasuhan kung may mga ebidensya. Actually, willing naman siyang kasuhan. Di ba? Sinabi nga doon sa public hearing, sa Senado. At hindi niyo kinakasuhan. O, di ba? So, ayan po. So, hanggang ngayon, kahit na may mga record na ho ang Kongreso at Senado, laban ho kay Duterte, binibigyan pa rin ng pagkakataon. Ito pong invitation ng Kongreso kay Duterte, hindi harassment. Hindi po ito harassment. Ito ay pagbibigay ng pagkakataon na siya'y makapagpaliwanag ng kanyang panig on record sa Quadcom hearing para naman humadinig ng taong bayan at ng Kongreso ang kanyang side tungkol sa mga akusasyon, paratang na siya ay nasa likod ng mga posibleng paglabag sa karapatan ng pagtao. Yun po yun. Hindi ho siya sasabihin guilty dyan. Iimbestigahan lang siya at ibibigay ang pagkakataon sa kanya. Pero hindi ho dumarating. Kung bakit, yan ang hindi ko alam. Marami hong dahilan eh. Nung nagpunta kay Duterte, nagpunta sa Senado, ang dami niyang kasama mga abogado at malakas siya ron. Tapos na nga yung hearing, sabi ko nga kanina, ayaw po umuwi. Eh dito sa Kongreso, allowed naman siya magdala ng maraming abogado at bodyguard, pero hindi pa rin ho dumarating. So, yan ho yung paninindigan ng Kongreso. Kailangan pa rin, minag-motion na nga kanina, kailangan pa rin dumalo si Duterte sa susunod na mga hearing. Ayan o, at si Bato de la Rosa. At marami pang napanggit na pangalan. So, pansamantala, ikat muna natin itong coverage natin. Pero tulad na sinabi ko, ano man pong mga development dito doon sa ibang resource person, hayaan nyo, ipaparinig ko sa inyo sa mga darating na oras. Okay? God is good. Pahinga muna kayo kasi alam ko po na yung iba, tanghalian, di nakapagtanghalian dahil dito. Yung iba naman matutulog na, yung mga nasa ibang bansa. Kasi sa Amerika, gabi na ngayon. Nagpupuyat pa. Yung iba na, naiintindihan ko eh. Sa Europe at Middle East lang gising ang mga tao, pero sa North America, ang Canada at saka sa Amerika mismo, ay madaling araw na din. At napupuyat sila masyado. Okay? Pero naiintindihan ko yan no, ng sitwasyon. Kaya ikat ko muna ito. Sana naiintindihan niyo ako. At kung ano man po mga development para ko sa inyo. Salamat po. Thank you po sa mga nakasama natin sa unang salbo ng ating live ngayong umaga. Ngayong tanghali dito sa Pilipinas. God is good pa rin po. Huwag tayo makalimot sa Kanya. Salamat po.